What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Hard Count. We're back, baby. Better than ever, honestly. Maybe not better, I should say. Maybe not. But CJ, my brother, how are we doing on this Tuesday night?
Man, I'm doing great. All is well. Ready to talk some football. Crazy weekend.
A crazy, crazy weekend. Listen, CJ, your boy. I feel fine now. I feel fine, but I got boosted today, so I'm hoping that it doesn't kick in later tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, just
So
hopefully you're good, bro. Might
the arm's starting to get there, but nothing this guy can't handle.
It's that mental toughness. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. It's been ingrained in me over the years. Let's look at this. We already got the color cast popping. Look at Mark saying Niners over the Packers. Lock it in. Mark, don't worry, we're gonna get to that. But
Yes, we
will. I don't hate the chances. I don't hate it. We got Matt in here already. Yo, what's going on?
Yo.
Congrats to Connie for making it around 2 on the color cast.
Yes, sir. Congrats to my guy. He's doing big things. We covered a game for all the listeners and listen on the pod. We did the Bengals and the Raiders on Saturday. It's about probably one of the only good games throughout the weekend.
Two good games. The whole
two
weekend.
Good games. Two solid games. Shout out to my guy Connie, man, doing big things.
You know what, CJ? I couldn't have done it without people like you doing the show, doing the games with me. My man Josh, obviously, everybody that came out and supported the kid. Moving on to round 2. I don't plan on going out just yet either. So during these games, over the weekend, I'll make sure to let everybody know when I'm streaming over there on the Colorcast. Obviously, if you haven't, checked out the Colorcast by now, go over there, check us out. You can type in the USN at the end of our names. You can find everybody there. So make sure you give everybody a follow. And then, you can support the squad. Listen, we're not going to skip over nothing, Matt. Don't you worry. We're not skipping nothing.
How can we? How can we skip over that one?
I did, and one thing before we start, because it is kind of glorious. CJ, I said it before we started. There's only a few games to talk about now. Me and you are used to those 2-hour shows, 2 hours, 15 minutes worth of programming. Not anymore.
Yeah, game's getting tight. We're at the Elite 8 right now, so not used to the weekly grind where, Connie and I talk about every single game. We'll save that for next season, next regular season. But right now, it's definitely good to, let's talk some playoffs, man. Some really good games that happened this weekend. Really good teams that played, I should say, that happened this weekend, and a lot of storylines to get into.
Matt brings up another excellent comment. CJ with the God tier backgrounds for the hard count. For the people on the Colorcast that can't see it, let me pull us away real quick.
Some calm lavender. You feel me?
It's a beautiful picture of Dak, trying to get the ball away from the referee so he can spike the ball. Fantastic. It's a fantastic job by CJ. Listen, he sets up the stream. He finds the backgrounds, does all the little edit things that you see on the pod. Basically, this show would be nothing without him. Just saying.
I mean, just trying to keep it relevant. You know what I mean? That's such a big play. How can you not make that the background for this episode? It's only right.
And we'll jump right into this episode. CJ, I figure we just go down the AFC side, we go down the NFC side, then we preview the divisional round games. How's that sound to you, my brother?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, man.
All right, so we'll start it off with the game that me and you actually called. The Las Vegas Raiders at the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sorry for the people watching on the streamer. I know it's a little small, but it was the only one that I could find that actually showed the scores on the screen as well. So that's why I went with that one. Just, listen, just, young eyes out there. Get a magnifying glass. You'll be able to see it as well. And 26-19. Cincinnati played really well in the first half. It didn't look like Vegas was going to have much going. And then, it kind of went the opposite direction in the second half, in my opinion. Came down to the last play of the game. The Raiders were driving down the field. Derek Carr throws one into double coverage, in the end zone. They're trying to score. Hindsight 2020. I said this yesterday. Everybody's like, oh, why doesn't he throw it to this person? He had this person wide open. I mean, if you look back at the film, I'm sure that there's throws that every single quarterback has missed on basically every single play. So I'm not going to blame them. I'm not going to blame Carr, I should say. But I think this game tells two different stories. The Bengals get their first win in 31 years, or their first playoff win in 31 years, I should say, which is obviously unbelievable. We can finally send a text message, CJ, about them winning. It's finally been done. The history is no longer there. And then the Raiders, I look at it like this. If anybody knows me, not big on participation trophies. I'm not a participation trophy guy. I'm really not. So I usually don't go here, but I'm going to hand one out to the Raiders because the fact that they even managed to get here is simply astonishing. Like I don't think people really understand how much of a shock it is that the Raiders even got here. They start off strong, and then they do the typical Raider thing where they kind of choke down the stretch. John Gruden gets fired. You have the Henry Ruggs situation. You have two other players kicked off the team for a DUI. You got Darren Waller basically out the entire year. I mean, this was one of the bigger shocks to me that they actually got it done. It just felt like it was never going to happen. Like, even though I knew that they were close at certain points, CJ, it always felt like to me like, something's going to happen where they'll probably lose this game and then they'll be out. I mean, they beat some good teams down the stretch to get in here. I mean, they beat the Chargers. Obviously, in that last game of the season, they ended up beating the Colts in Indy. Obviously, we know how the Colts finished the season, but up until that point, it was a big deal. It really was a big deal. We got Perry in here. Packers-Niners going to be good on Saturday, Matt. Yes, it will be. Excited. Looking forward to that game. Good to know Perry's alive, guys. I wasn't sure how everything was going after that game, but it's good to know that he's still with us. You can stop your concerns. You don't have to call his house anymore. But, so I hand out the ever so rare Connie participation trophy to the Raiders because I can't believe they even got into this position.
What a ride, like you said. What a season for Vegas for all the reasons you mentioned. Derek Carr did his best with all the obstacles, got to the playoffs, but Cincinnati was just a better team. Just felt like they made some more plays. They just did enough in that first half to really keep it afloat. They really didn't do too much in the second half, only got 6 points. But just the offense for Vegas just wasn't able to get it going. They had a lot of penalties that set them back, which hurt them. And we know the Raiders have been known for penalties for the longest. I mean, even before this year, they've been a heavily penalized team. And it just speaks to lack of discipline. And I heard some of those drives where they were, Josh Jacobs was able to get down the field, keep it going, and then you just see the yellow thing on the floor, and it gets called back. And that just that kills the confidence of your team, of your offense, when those things happen, and your play calling too. It changes up your entire play calling as an offense. And Jamar Chase, Burrow didn't have an all world game, but you look at pretty much half of the yards that he accumulated from a passing standpoint. About half of those were from Chase, and it just speaks to the type of chemistry that they have, and just how great of a duo that's going to be going forward. And Cincinnati, like getting their first win in 31 years, it's fitting. They got their franchise guy. Defense made some key plays as well to keep Vegas's offense under 20 points, which was tough. I mean, they put up 32 against the Chargers last week, and they've been known they put up 33 on the Cowboys. They've had moments where they've definitely got over 30 and had some really high scoring games. So you got to give Cincinnati's defense a lot of credit as well. Cincinnati's defense a lot of credit as well. Just a great win for them, and now they're going to advance and go to Tennessee, which I think is going to be another great game, another great test for Cincinnati.
Yeah, and the thing for the Bengals, I think obviously their key is I looked it up during the game because I wanted to make sure everything was right. I think they gave up like an average of 4.6 yards per carry. So I'm kind of surprised in a way, and I know you were mentioning it a lot on the broadcast while we were doing this game that you want to see Josh Jacobs get more involved. I'm surprised that he didn't, especially after looking that up. And then, there were still some of the play calls that I didn't love. If you remember on the broadcast as well, when they were getting down to that crunch time, uh, you obviously need the touchdown in that position. With them being down what was that, 7 points they were down? They were down by a touchdown.
Right.
So you obviously need the touchdown. Field goal does you nothing, and you're inside the 15 maybe at the end of that game. I would have liked to see more of, instead of just that couple shots at the end zone. It kind of seemed like, do the 5 yard out and get to the sideline. Do the quick out. Do a little screen pass. Probably a wide receiver screen so you can make sure you get to the sideline. But I would have went with one of those so you get closer. You can probably have a better chance. I mean, I don't know how much of a better chance you have, because obviously when you are in the red zone, everything gets condensed by a lot. You only have so much field to work with. It's not the same thing, when you're on the 50-yard line, and if the play breaks down, you can start running up, down, diagonal. Listen, if you're in the red zone, you can only run so far before you're out of the back of the end zone, and then we all know what happens after that. You're basically useless. So wasn't in love with what the Raiders did at the end of that game, but like I said, for them to be in the position that they were is kind of astonishing to me. And listen, it's a good win for the Bengals. I thought it was very early for people to say that, what does this do for Joe Burrow if he loses this game? Like, really? What does it do? He's in his second year. He doesn't do anything. Let's look at, some of the first playoff, appearances by quarterbacks. Lamar was trash. We'll get to the game, but Kyler was trash. Eli Manning got shut out in his first playoff game. I mean, so even if you aren't a rookie, your first playoff game, the lights are definitely brighter. There's definitely a bigger audience on you. So to say that, this was kind of an important thing for him, I didn't really understand that. CJ, did you?
No, again, this first off, I think for Cincinnati, number one for front office, he played all 18 games, well, 17 games. He stayed healthy throughout the whole year. That's number one. You wanted to keep him upright. And even though he was getting sacked a lot, but he managed to stay healthy throughout the season. You got him as number one target. They scored enough. They scored a lot of points. They played well against some top teams. And if they lost, it was very competitive at times. I don't think if they would have lost, it would have been a disappointment. But they didn't lose. So they keep going. They keep it going, and they have opportunity to win. And Tennessee, they have the offense to definitely keep up with them. And we're going to see what happens. But I think it's a great for the city of Cincinnati. Of course, I mean they've struggled. They were never bad. Outside the year, obviously they got the number one pick, but they've always had some solid talent on teams. They had the Carson Palmer years with Ocho Cinco and TJ Houshmandzadeh and those guys. Then they had Eddie Dole and AJ Green, Tyler Eifert when he was healthy back in the day. They had some solid team. Geno Atkins in his prime on the D line. So they were always like good, but they just couldn't get over the hump. Marvin Lewis and just couldn't get over the hump with Marvin Lewis being the head coach. Now you got Zach Taylor. You win the division. Now you get your first playoff game in 3 decades. It's a great step for that franchise.
And I wonder where the Raiders go from here, CJ. I'm curious what you think on it. It kind of seems that they're not going to go with Pasaccia.
Yep.
I'm not very good at the name. It doesn't look like
they just got rid of Mayock yesterday.
Yeah, well, listen, let me tell you something. And respectfully, I say this: he's literally drafted more drunk drivers than Pro Bowlers.
Sheesh.
I mean, it's 3-0. I'm pretty sure. Or no, he drafted Crosby. Crosby made the Pro Bowl this year, so 3-1.
3-1.
I mean,
yeah.
He had a solid first draft. That was the Crosby draft. That was the Josh Jacobs. Players like that. And then, I mean, since then, it's just been, traded off the team before starting a snap, practice squad, or, benched, cut, like
AB situation.
Exactly. The AB situation. And listen, you can't put it on him directly, but you are the GM, so it comes back to you. Technically, you can say that John Gruden is a situation underneath him as well. Obviously,
Yeah,
that.
they were a package, but yeah, you could.
Yeah, I mean, listen, is it probably an unfair statement? I can agree with that, but
Yeah,
life isn't
that's
fair.
the easy thing to do, obviously, because of what happened. And Gruden had a lot of controversy. You could just really, it was all Gruden. But that's the easy thing to do, man. I'm glad. I mean, Mark Davis, didn't see it that way. I mean, he knows the everyday, day by day situations that's going on over there in Vegas, and yeah, it's time for a fresh start. I mean, yeah, it's been a few fresh starts. Yeah, they had Reggie McKenzie for a little bit as a GM. They had Jack Del Rio as the head coach. They've had a lot of head coaches, a few head coaches under Derek Carr. And then also the question is, do you want to keep Derek Carr? Is he a $35 to $40 million annual quarterback? That's a question that's going to need to be had this season or this off season
Is
for
he?
Vegas. I mean,
You think he is?
I mean, just based off market and what these guys. I mean, Dak got it. I don't, I'm not gonna say he's not worth it or whatever. You feel me? Like, but he's definitely not elite. He's not an elite. He's not a top 5 quarterback. I don't think
No.
Derek Carr is a top 5 quarterback either. But he's gonna make that type of money just because that's what the market dictates for a quarterback, and he's gonna get the bread. And now it's going to come down to whoever they get as a GM to have to keep building that team around him, because as we know, and you talked about it, and in previous offseason episodes, you talked about the cap percentages and how much, when you pay the guys a certain percentage and how much that eats up the cap, the success of the team. So, it's going to come down to that GM to have to really get grind out, scout some good guys and make sure to get them on the cheap to build around the Raiders going forward as you're paying him 35 to 40 mil. I mean, you got to keep him. I mean, you can't be a trash team when you got Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in that division. It's not going to get any better, but at least if you got Carr in there, you could at least compete because he is good enough. And we've seen that. We've seen him beat the Raiders. We've seen him beat the Chargers here in the last few years. And I feel like you got to keep him.
Yeah, I think you have to keep him as well. And you also have to look at, like you said, the market, but how the market is going to change over the years as well. I mean, it's kind of just like the simple inflation type of thing. $20 40 years ago isn't the same thing as $20 now.
Right.
And it's kind of the same, thing when it comes to the NFL, except you're talking about, hundreds of millions of dollars. Because, if you pay Derek Carr, maybe he says, you know what, fine, I like playing here. I'll take a little bit of a discount. Say you get him at like 35, maybe in the 32 area. If Jesus comes down and tries to talk to him, that 32 in 4 years,
it's a bargain. Yeah,
is going to look a lot different because you got to think Lamar's going to get paid. He'll probably get in the 40s. You got to look at Joe Burrow. What's he going to make down the line? He's going to get a bag. Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert might be the first $50 million quarterback, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
He's got another, like 2 years on his rookie deal after this one?
2 years, yeah. Yep.
Because
he'll
next year will be his third year, right? So
yeah,
he'll have the 1 year in the rookie option.
Yeah, he'll get 50 because Mahomes got 50, right? 45, something like that.
It was something up there.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, you look at in the next 3 years when you're going to have $50 million quarterbacks. If you're paying yours 35, you can look at that and be like, yeah, you know what? We didn't do so bad. Now, like we've said, is Carr, to the level of Herbert? No. I said that Herbert is, in my eyes, probably top 5 already. I think he's an MVP candidate in the next year or two at most.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So he's not there, but if he's going to win you 10 games and he gets you into the playoffs with dysfunction, imagine if the GM comes in, hires a coach that has some stability, and then they actually draft well. So if you have a guy winning you 10 games, taking the playoffs with dysfunction, imagine with an actually, properly run organization.
And what do you think they should
look on it.
What do you think they should do at head coach? Should they go offensive guy, defensive guy? I mean, they went recruiting Gruden. He's obviously a defensive guy. Then they had Jack Del Rio the time before, who's defense. So what do you think they should
Listen,
do? I mean,
I think you have to go offense in today's world. I mean, we went over this before. Look at every team that won the division. If you take
other than
away,
the Bills, right?
yeah, if you take away the
Right.
Bills, every other team was offense. You got Andy Reid, Sean McVay. You go over Frank
Matt,
Reich,
Matt LaFleur.
Matt
Right.
LaFleur, exact. So I mean, every team that won the division. I mean, Mike McCarthy's supposed to be offense. So every team that won the division
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Right.
has an offensive coach. Now, also what you have to look at, CJ, and this is kind of an interesting thing too, because it proves how much quarterbacks mean and why you can't do anything without one. If you look at the division, there's not a single division that was won this year that didn't win it with the best quarterback in that division. Not a single one. I think Stafford's better than Kyler. The Rams win the division. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't like Dak, but Dak is obviously head and shoulders above everybody else in that division. Josh Allen is better than everybody in that division. We know what Aaron Rodgers is. We know what Tom Brady is.
And T-Law is young. So, I mean, you're going to still put Tannehill for right now.
Yeah. I mean, every single division was won by the team with the best quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, that's the game we're living in right now. It's different type of era, man. You need a guy. You need a guy in there that can make all the throws. And if not, you better have some excellent skill position players around him to make him look good.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would imagine you should go offense, just because that's the way the league is turning at this point. Now, maybe in a couple years, because we've seen the league. I mean, there's turnover all the time. So maybe in the next 5 years, all the offensive coaches have turned into defensive coaches because, defense is winning again. So we'll find out. But I think for right now, you go offense, you try and keep Derek Carr, and then you pray that the person that they hire a GM and head coach, bring actual stability to a franchise that honestly hasn't really had it.
Yeah, really. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, they haven't had true stability since the first stint with Gruden.
Yeah,
that was it. And then before that, I mean,
John Madden.
I mean, you got Flores, Tom Flores, and that was after Madden when they were winning then. But yeah, after then Gruden hasn't really been. It's been a stable franchise. They've had some obviously great players, but yeah, stability wise from a winning standpoint hasn't been great. So this is a big offseason for the Raiders. A lot of questions need to be answered. We'll see who he brings in as a GM, and then ultimately as a head coach, because they got the quarterback. They just got to figure out the other two.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They're one of the teams I'm definitely looking at in this offseason to see what they do. But we'll go on from there to a game that is near and dear to our heart.
Shout out Quinn Grimes, baby. Nah, my bad. Go ahead, man.
That just clearly didn't go the way that we wanted. But the way that every Buffalo Bill fan ever, since Bill Belichick took over, has wanted the game to go. It finally happened for him. Patriots go in to Orchard Park, get slapped, smacked, bodied, bamboozled. I mean, as fans, we were bamboozled and led astray and run amok and straight up deceived. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith, by the way. That we had a chance in this game.
Yeah.
But 47-17. And a thing happened in this game that I didn't even know was a stat in football. They played a perfect game. Now, I'm a big baseball guy. I know all about perfect games. No hits, no errors, no walks, hit by pitches, nothing. Didn't know there was one in football until now. And it was the first one in playoff history, by the way. 7 possessions. They scored 7 touchdowns. CJ, did you know that they didn't convert 1 third down in this game? And you want to know what third down that was? That was on the kneel down.
On the kneel, yeah. It was victory formation. Yeah, I was about to say that.
So, a tough game.
Tough.
I have my thoughts on this, CJ. But we've gone over this before. You are more mellow. I bring, a a little bit of gunpowder to the fight each time. I'll let you go. I'll let you go, and then I'll have my moment of clarity.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing loss. No doubt about it. I mean, 47-17. I mean, that's you saw from the first drive. They look slow out there. They look like they didn't want to get hit. They didn't want to be out there in the cold, and they just kept and the Bills just kept it coming. They tried to go zone. I think Josh Allen did a great job of not panicking, making the right reads, going to his check downs, just doing what he needs to do. And then when they go man, it's tough to go man against Josh Allen because he could run the football. So once he gets out the pocket, he's a nightmare to stop. And offensively, it was just tough for them to get into a rhythm because offensively for the Bills, it was just too much. They had a nice solid drive there, and then Mac throws a pick, underthrows Aguilar a little bit. Still want to see maybe Aguilar try to fight for the ball, but Micah Hyde made a great play, and then he threw another interception. Also when I think it was like 20 the zip or something like that. So it just got away from them way too fast. And you got to give credit to the Bills. They did a great job defensively. Did a phenomenal job. Offensively, they just couldn't be stopped. It was really just an embarrassing loss by the Patriots. Definitely one of the most embarrassing losses. Probably this one, and I want to say, I mean, there was a wild card game against the Ravens, maybe about a few
35-14, right?
35-14, yeah, and that was pretty embarrassing in the playoffs. And it's a lot needs to happen in the off season for New England. First off, they gotta get some faster linebackers. I mean, credit to Hightower, had some great years, a decade. But yeah, I mean, if he's not moving the DN or something like that, he can't. He can't be a starting middle linebacker. It's just not fast enough. You need sideline to sideline guys. Kyle Van Noy, again, won a Super Bowl, solid backer, but not a sideline to sideline guy, not that fast, and they need some speed at that position. They need to find another edge rusher. Judon really just fell off in the last 6 weeks of the season.
Like a brick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that, but they need another edge rusher. Have some guys that New England drafted that were kind of redshirted this year. Got Cam McGrone out of Michigan. He didn't play because he had the ACL. He's a speedy guy. Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. I thought I was going to see something from him this year. Ultimately, he didn't play. Josh Uche had some moments, but really didn't get to play a lot. So we'll see if those guys step up next season for New England. And then ultimately, I've been saying this for the last 4 years. They need a number one guy. They need a number one wide receiver. You can't. This is not 2002. This is 2022, right?
20-year difference, by the way, for the math people out there.
Yeah, this is 2-decade difference, right? You can't run an offense with mediocre receivers. I mean, at best. I mean, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, he showed up. He definitely showed up. He made some plays. He made some tough catches. But you need top guys. I've been saying this throughout the whole entire year. You look at all these other quarterbacks, not even just the young guys, just all the elite ones. They have an elite receiver or two or three at
Shout out Joe Burrow.
Yeah, at their disposal. You know what I mean? And you need that talent. You need that talent around a quarterback, whether he's young or whether he's in his 30s. It just helps the offense so much. It opens up so many other things for other guys to get open, and it's a great way to scheme things up. You can't. What Tom Brady did was, I mean, it was an anomaly, but really not. But then not so much because you had Gronk. I mean, Gronk was a excellent tight end. And then the key thing and my issue with the Patriots wide receivers, I tweeted this. I'm like, they have the slowest wide receivers in NFL history, or at least this season. None of those guys get yards after the catch. As soon as they catch the ball, you touch their legs, they just drop. They have no type of agility, elusivity at all. It's tough. I mean, Kendrick Bourne's probably the only one that gets yards after the catch. Jacoby Myers, he gets a catch. You touch him, he's going down. He doesn't break any tackles. Nelson Aguilar, all he does is streaks and comebacks. That's about it. His route tree is pretty limited. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Harry. I mean, hopefully it works out somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? A good blocker though. You could throw that on a resume. But other than
I'm
that,
trying again to kill Harry off this team for 2 years now.
yeah. Other than that, he hasn't produced at all. Definitely underwhelming selection by Bill.
A bad draft pick at a skill position, CJ. You don't say.
Yeah, he has to get right with this one. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 guys in the draft this time around that are supposed to be good. You got Chris Olave, you got Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, Jameson. We know that they're both Alabama guys. Jameson Williams and John Mechie III. Those guys coming off ACL, so maybe their draft selection will drop a little bit. Maybe New England can snag one of those guys, but then you got Drake London out of USC, solid big guy. A lot of people comparing him to Mike Evans. So the Patriots got to get one of those guys, hands down. I mean, if they don't get one of those guys, they just come out the same offseason. They come out with the same wide receivers next year. I mean, it's really nothing to look forward to for the Patriots next season. You got to put some skill guys around Mac, bro. I mean, like again, and Burrow's great, right? But it's you put the Patriots wide receiver core in Cincinnati. It's not happening. They're not winning a lot of ball games. Straight up, they're just not. And then Hunter Henry's good, but he's not a route runner. He runs about 2 routes. He runs a stick route. I mean, it's just facts, bro. I mean, it's just facts. I mean,
I don't disagree.
Yeah, he'll run a stick route, and then he'll run, maybe a corner route here and there. But he plays the position like a power forward. He likes to body up, use his size, get the catch. He's more of a possession tight end. Gronk was that, but he also got yards after the catch. It was tough to take him down. He would get yards after the catch. Even when they had Hernandez was agile. He was elusive. He got yards after the catch. Edelman got yards after the catch. Welker, Amendola, all of those guys. Even when you go back to the early 2000s, Troy Brown, Vincent, Deion Branch, those guys, after they caught the ball, they kept running. They didn't just get tackled, and that helps with offense. That helps with movement down the field. And the Patriots for our receivers just don't have that. They don't have that right now, and that's a problem. You need that in this league. You need top guys. And Jonnu Smith, just disappointment. He's really just an athlete. He's not really a tight end. He's just an athlete that plays tight end. He's obviously not a great route runner. He's a guy that you gotta put him in space. You gotta call certain plays for him, reverses and things like that. Get him the ball, some screens, make him be an athlete and run the football. But when it comes to being a true traditional tight end, that's really not his game. So you could put some blame on him, and you could put some blame on Josh McDaniels for not really using him the right way, because it's been a whole season, and you should already know what type of play you have in Jonnu Smith, and for you not to call certain plays to get him some touches and get him in a rhythm, I feel like that's a 50-50 thing between the coaching and the player. And I mean, and the running backs are fine. Harris is cool. Stevenson is cool. Brandon Bolden's solid. We'll see if we bring James White back. James White is obviously a big time. He's a playoff guy. I mean, Brandon Bolden dropped the easy pass, Mac threw. Easy pass, 20 yards down the field. You got to catch that football. I know it's cold out there, but you get paid. You get paid to catch that football. So tough loss. Bills are just a better team. I don't feel like we're not that far off, but if we don't get the right players in the right positions, then it's just going to be the same thing every single year. So a lot needs to happen with this team if they want to be able to contend in the AFC and be a true contender. But I mean, I'm 10-7. They really could have been the Colts. They could have easily been the Colts. I mean, losing 3 out of 4, they really struggled. If they don't win that Jacksonville game, they could have been the Colts right now, and the Colts would have been in the playoffs. So you got to look at that, and they got to change some things, and they got to work on corners 100%. I know they missed Jonathan. I know Jonathan Jones was out.
How's that Gilmore trade looking?
Jalen Mills was out. Yeah, Gilmore. Yeah, the Gilmore trade there wasn't the best, but I mean, he really didn't do too much in Carolina. He didn't really make any splash plays. I watched a few of those games. I didn't really see him do much. So,
but did he get burnt?
Did he get burned? No, but I mean, he didn't do any. I didn't even see him make any impact plays. I mean, I didn't see one highlight from him. And maybe Josh could. Maybe Josh disagrees. He watches all those Panther games. Maybe he saw some things, but still, I mean, you didn't have Jalen Mills because of COVID. That's tough. I mean, that's just the life we're living in right now. And Miles Bryant, undrafted. This kind of speaks to why he's undrafted. I mean, he got destroyed by Isaiah McKenzie in the second game against Buffalo, and he struggled. Jawan Williams, really a special teams guy, even though he was drafted in the second round, has been a disappointment since he's been drafted by New England. So they need to get the corner position down, linebacker, and then they need a wide receiver for a great wide receiver for Mac. And then we'll see what this offense looks like.
Yeah. I mean, everything you say is obviously factual, but like, here's my thing too, right? And I know that it's sacrilegious to say this because Bill does no wrong. And Bill, let me get this out of the way. Bill should not retire. Bill should not, let go. He shouldn't have to move on. But bro, I understand that the players probably aren't the best. But first of all, who shopped for them? The thing is always, with head coaches, if you're going to let me cook, you might as well let me get the ingredients as well. Well, guess what? You got the ingredients. You made a whole meal. And then when you served it, it turned into dog shit. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think this offseason and last offseason, he kind of listened to the people around him a little bit more than usual. I mean, because the rookie class is pretty. I mean, you got Stevenson, Barmore, Mack. So it was pretty good. So we'll see what he does this year. Offseason wise, they got to get, like I said, they got to get that linebacker position right. They got to get faster at that position. You look at Devin White, Fred Warner,
bro. That's what I'm saying.
Micah Parsons. I mean, these guys are elite speed. They go sideline to sideline. And when you play, and when you got Josh Allen in your division, you need guys that have to match his speed. And if you don't have those type of guys, it's going to be a rough night. And that's exactly what it was on Saturday.
I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, even the tackling was bad. Like, everybody's sitting here trying to arm tackle everybody, bro. It's like negative 5 degrees outside.
Right.
You're not tackling nobody with an arm tackle, usually in 90-degree weather. I mean, nonetheless, when you're freezing and you're probably not even putting full effort into these hits because it's going to sting a little bit more. Listen, they need wide receiver help, obviously. I mean, like you said, Kendrick Bourne was really the guy that we're looking forward to. And
yes.
CJ, I don't know if you saw the Dante Scarnecchia quote, because you basically quoted it word for word. He said, all those errors that we had with New England, because obviously he was with the team forever as their offensive line coach, but he said, we had people who you could go to on third down. We had Wes Welker, we had Julian Edelman, we had Deion Branch and things like that, and they don't have that person. Jacoby Myers maybe, but like, you play man coverage against the Patriots and all of a sudden nobody knows how to get open because, like you said, they have about the same speed as, Larry Fitzgerald does these days. So, I mean, it's just not – you're not built properly. You are built like you're playing the Rams in the 2000 Super Bowl. That is what the team looks like right now.
But those receivers are much better back then.
You're right.
Because again, like I said, they got yards after the catch. Like, they were fast. You know what I'm saying? They caught the ball, they made a move. They don't just get tackled. Like I said, Myers, he's good. I mean, he's solid.
Yeah, he's a third
solid
option on an actual good team.
Yeah, exactly. Bourne, same thing.
And he led the team in receiving yards.
Had 2 touchdowns all year. Got his first touchdown in 3 years.
I'm pretty sure he only had like 890 yards too. Imagine leading your team in receiving yards with 890.
It's not good.
There's probably people on the Jets that have 1,000 yards. Maybe not, but
maybe not. Yeah, I don't know about that. But still, for a playoff team.
For a playoff team, that's ridiculous.
That's not good enough at all.
And here's the thing too. Like I said, so if you're going to complain about the players, that's your fault. But here's my biggest thing, right? CJ, do you know, and I don't know if you saw this, how many possessions in a row Josh Allen has not punted against the Patriots?
I'm gonna say 13.
20.
Wow.
20 straight possessions without a punt against the Patriots for Josh Allen. So here's my thing too. If your players are struggling, first of all, it's on you because you are the talent person that's supposed to get them on the team. But second of all, how is that not a game plan issue? Listen, 20 straight possessions without a punt and 7 straight possessions in this game with a touchdown, not a field goal. You literally never got a stop, not one stop in the entire game. So if your players don't match up, I understand that. Sometimes it's a bad matchup. Cowboys and 49ers were a bad matchup.
Right.
But bro, that doesn't, and I'm being serious now. I kind of said it, metaphorically before. 7 straight touchdowns on 7 straight possessions. That doesn't happen to the Jets. That doesn't even happen to the Jags and teams like that. Patriots put up 50 plus points on both of those teams, and they didn't even score touchdown 7 possessions in a row. There were even some field goals out there. Yeah, you cannot live in a world where you give up 7 straight touchdowns. Not like that's what blows my mind the most. It's touchdowns, bro. This is not a field goal. I would have been happy with that. I mean, I would have, stripped and ran around my house if they could have gotten a punt, because we all knew that wasn't going to happen anyway.
And also an underrated factor in this is Brian Daboll. Man, he's been with the Patriots. He's been with the Patriots for I think about 12, 13 years before going to Alabama with Nick Saban and then becoming the Bills offensive coordinator. Won 5 Super Bowls with the Patriots. So he knows Bill like the back of his hand. He knows the defense. He knows what they like to do. And when you got and Bill struggles with mobile quarterbacks. He struggled with Cam when Cam was in his prime. He struggled with Lamar as well. Even Dak a little bit in that game against the Cowboys. He was rolling out, making some plays. So that's been his kryptonite. And why it's been his kryptonite? Because they just don't have the speed at the right positions you need in order to slow some of those things down. And like I said, Daboll did a great job coaching. Has done a great job so far in coaching Josh Allen. And again, like I said, he knows New England's defense more than anybody. So that's if they lose him, we'll see what that offense looks like. But I think that's also an underrated factor in all this as well, because he knows, okay, Bill likes to do this. Just take the check down. When they go man, don't rush, don't do anything. Just use your legs, run out the pocket, make a move. And they didn't want to tackle it. Like you said, they didn't want to tackle on Saturday, bro.
No.
They just didn't want to tackle. I mean, I guess they came out there. They was like, man, it's cold. Hopefully Buffalo
I got my
folds.
$60K for making the playoffs.
Buffalo folds or something like, I don't know, but definitely not their best performance, because even if they're struggling a little bit, they play better than that. At least they come back, put up a fight when they're down, and you just didn't see that. You just didn't see that with the Patriots on Saturday. So embarrassing loss, and it's some things that New England needs to work on.
By the way, it's now officially 90-10 Tom. Just saying. I mean,
it's just
90-10.
It's just tough, bro, for the simple fact that you can't have a dynasty without all three, bro. Can't have a dynasty without quarterback, head coach, and in this case, it's just Bill. So he's the GM as well. So you just Bruce Arians is a good coach. It's not like Bruce Arians is going 4-12 and 2-14. No. He was winning some games with the Cardinals. He was a interim head coach of the year with the Colts when Chuck Pagano went down with cancer. Like he was good. He's a good head coach. So yeah, I mean it's obviously Tom made it work. Tom is an anomaly, bro. We've never seen anybody like Tom. He's a living legend. We've never seen anybody like Tom. We can't compare him to anybody. I mean, we just can't. So it's like
biggest mistake in franchise history.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. You could say that right now. I mean, obviously, because he's still playing at a high level, and yeah, they didn't put the weapons around. They didn't put the weapons around them. I was saying it when they got knocked out against the Titans in the first round. They got bounced out. Only put up 13 points in Foxborough. That's disappointing, man. You got to come out and play better. And I was like, they need to go get some wide receivers. They didn't. And Tom looked at the landscape like, okay, you guys are not going to improve at this position. Gronk is not here. I'm out. And then he went to go with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So
living the sun.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see if they don't improve that position, and they haven't improved that position in what 4 years. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, again, you got Edelman. Edelman was great. Edelman was great at what he did. He had great chemistry with Tom. in the slot. Amendola was a good pickup as well. They got guys here and there, but they never got a guy. They never got a true X, a true Z other than Randy Moss. That was the only true X, true Z wide receiver
absolutely.
where it worked out. But he was in a trade. They need to draft a guy. They need to find somebody. Christian Wilkinson had a good game against the Jaguars. Didn't see him after that. I mean, you're gonna
the thing that kills me about the whole wide receiver thing though is you're not good at something, right? Listen, look at me. You think I'm going to go run a marathon? Absolutely not. So I don't go do them. If you can't draft a wide receiver when somebody like Stephon Diggs is on the trading block, you think you'd be a little more aggressive? When, Odell, listen, I'm not even a big Odell guy either, by the way. But Odell was out there. He's better than any wide receiver they got on that team. You didn't decide to take a flyer on him? I mean, it's not like there's never – listen, Julio was hurt all year. I still would have taken the risk on trading forward this year. Yeah. Guess what? Calvin Ridley might be available this offseason. How much you want to bet there's not even a rumor that they're involved with him? I'll guarantee you right now on the show.
We'll see. We'll see, man. Alabama connection. So maybe. I don't know the situation. I really don't know what happened with him in Atlanta as their mental health and things like that. So, if all that straightened out, good for him. God bless him. You feel me? But from a football standpoint, he'd be a great pickup. He'd be a great pickup, man. Why do the Knicks stink? I don't know, man. Same reason why the Lakers stink, bro. Just inconsistencies, bro.
Listen, I'm watching the game right now on the MSG network. It's 98-97.
I don't know, bro. I mean, you got the same record as the Lakers, brother, and y'all got LeBron and Russell Westbrook. So,
see, I still don't think that Matt's actually a Laker fan. I don't think he is, because every time I talk smack about the Lakers, he agrees with me and roots me on. So I'm a little skeptic of you, Mr. Cheese.
It's because it's facts. I mean,
well, you know what? You're right, CJ. I am usually right a lot, so it's people just tend to agree with me. What can I say? It's a power. We are an old retirement home. I mean,
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Not wrong there. Speaking of retirement homes, Big Ben is going to one. At least we hope, I should say.
It's
have the best football season of all time. I did have a good one. If only once was actually good, it might have been my best one. Smooth. Listen, I do pat myself on the back a lot. Let me be real, actually. But I swear to God, my transition game is the best out here.
Yeah, it's top tier, bro. Definitely. I see a lot of people on these shows. They're pretty mid, so you do a great job, brother.
Well, he was below mid. And we're talking about Big Ben. See right there? I got you. But yeah, Big Ben is probably heading over to that retirement home that Carmelo Anthony and LeBron will be joining very, very soon. By the way, CJ, I know it's a football show. Can you believe the blasphemy that D Wade said that everybody's going to forget MJ in the GOAT conversation?
Social media will keep it alive. But I get what he was saying, though.
I think he's smoking on that LeBron beef pack, but that's my opinion. Anyway.
It'll happen to LeBron, too. Somebody comes around and, becomes a guy for the next 15 years. Everybody's going to say, oh, he's better than LeBron. It's going to be the same thing, So, I get what he's saying, but like I said, the social media is what's going to keep these guys' legacy alive. If there was no social media, then, 100% people would forget about him. But you got the documentaries and all these things coming out to remind you. It's tough.
CJ, you said on my next transition, because we got in the color cast, speaking of documentaries, Connie, where's Man in the Arena? Bro, I don't know. They drop the episodes every Tuesday at midnight. Well, I mean, Monday midnight, technically, so technically it's Tuesday. I watch them right away all the time because it's fantastic. It has my guy Brady in it. And it's just not here. I'm searching on Twitter. I'm like one of the only people that's tweeting about it. I can't find where Man in the Arena episode 10 is. And I'm a little upset.
I don't know. Maybe he's
because I'm out here even looking up ESPN schedules showing the dates that they're supposed to be released. And it says the 18th. Well, guess what, brother? We're at the 18th. And then it said 9 Eastern. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to randomly release this one at 9 instead of 12. Well, guess what? It's 9. I ain't seeing no Man in the Arena. Isn't it on ESPN Plus? It is on ESPN Plus, but shout out to the man below. I have ESPN Plus.
Yes, sir.
You feel me?
Got you, brother. Always.
I'm gonna have to slide CJ, like 100 beans at the end of the year.
Nah, you good, bro. It's all good, man.
But yeah, we'll get back into this game. CJ, this is one of the rare ones. Like, listen, we talked about the Patriot game a lot because we're Patriot fans. But honestly, this is one of the rare times for a playoff game. It's borderline skippable, in my opinion. We won't skip it because we're fantastic hosts. But I mean, this was the prime example, and maybe a hot take here as well, which won't happen because the NFL loves money. But this is a prime example of why we all wanted the Chargers in the playoffs instead, because this game would have been Chargers Chiefs instead of Pittsburgh.
Right. Yep.
And second of all, by the way, both 7 seeds didn't even put up a fight in the playoffs. So the NFL expanding those playoffs, by the way, of course they're going to keep it because they made money, but you don't look too pretty when both your 7 seed teams are out here getting mollywopped. But that's just
they're talking about making it 8 and go back into the top 2 teams get a bye. So,
I mean, listen, maybe
people are gonna watch, man. People are gonna watch it.
No,
you got the fan base behind the team. So
you say it perfectly. Because listen, I complained that both 7 seeds didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. My stupid self watched every second of the games. I mean, let me not act like I'm holier than anybody else. I sat my fat self on my bed all Sunday and watched every single game that was on. So I mean, listen, let me not act like I'm not going to watch them. But I mean, you might get to a certain point where it's like, bro, you got 8 teams in the playoffs, like the 6-10, Cowboys next year. Why are they here? Or 6-11 technically now.
Yeah, that's going to be. It's still going to be must watch TV because again the betting factor. And
yeah, I didn't do too well in those parlays, by the way, CJ.
And
your boy didn't hit.
One of
Tough
my
life out here.
My boy Quan got a K, Calm K, on Sunday with Kelsey. He needed Kelsey to get a touchdown. He got that touchdown before the half. Clutch.
Listen,
got 800 beans off that.
I have a little chat where me and my boys, swap gambling ideas off each other. You might have to give me this man's number because listen, bro. Even yesterday, I'm a little upset. My brother's friend is in the chat. Yeah. He didn't post it before the game started, but after won like $800 on like a 12-team college basketball parlay. I said, bro, you didn't want to put that in the chat earlier? He said, oh, it was last minute. I don't care if it was last second. Give me the chance, brother. Give me a chance.
And was that FanDuel?
I think they use FanDuel. I still can't use anything.
Still?
Actually, yeah, bro. Nobody will verify me. Apparently, I'm dead.
Nah, that's crazy. You might have to call support or something like that.
Oh, I've called support. I've called them.
Damn.
Not a thing. 0. Underdog Fantasy, Matt? No, you're, of course, right over there. I can still use Underdog where I won my $200. Or you can also use code Gen Z to double your first deposit up to $100 over there on Underdog Fantasy.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, though. The Bills fan throwing the dildo on the field. That was kind of cringe. Like, how do you, like...
It's like the second time they've done that.
Like,
you're kind of a weirdo.
Like, when you're about to leave your crib, you're like, yeah, let me bring this before I go to...
They're like, no, that's exactly how I went. They said, all right, I got my gloves, my hat, my wallet, keys, dildo, water bottle. It's like,
good to go.
What did he say?
Shotgun, I'm out, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's crazy.
It's a bold move. I wonder where they kept it. Just saying, you know what I mean? But
it's another great question.
I wonder if that's allowed by security. There's no way. I wonder if it was so cold though that they're like, "Yo, I'm not making you take all your layers off. Just go through."
So it's that Bills fans get no shorties. Sheesh, that's tough.
Yo, honestly though, if I'm being objective here,
I know a few, but yeah, we'll keep it rocking because they smacked us.
No, CJ. I'll be respectful. I'll be respectful here because, well, I'm a Josh Allen fan. Anyway, bro, you ever seen his girl?
No, I have not.
Respectfully,
Respectfully.
doing a great job, Josh.
Heard it. Shout out
Respectfully,
Josh, man. Good job, brother.
but I guess millions of dollars will do that to you too. Anyway, listen, the Steelers are terrible. As good as Goff's though, nah. Goff's girl is elite. Josh Allen's girl A plus, but you know, Jared Goff got like that. Jared Goff got the A plus plus because you know she's working with some things.
Yeah, shout out to both of them. Actually, you know what I mean. Those are good grades. A plus. I'll take those.
Respectfully, of course. But the Chiefs disrespected the Steelers. They're terrible. Big Ben is never going to play again. Wonderful career. I say easily, in my opinion, he was the best quarterback out of that draft. He was better than Eli regular season, of course. Postseason, listen, if you want to give it to Eli, because he was low key a killer in the playoffs. You might be able to give him the edge.
Postseason, probably a toss. Probably could be a toss up.
Yeah.
I feel like Eli's are more memorable.
Although, I mean, listen, Big Ben got that San Antonio Holmes catch.
No, for sure. Yeah, that one you could say that one and the Tyree. You could throw both of those up. Those are two of the best Super Bowls I've seen as a fan.
I don't remember the Cardinal one, unfortunately. And I barely remember the helmet catch.
Yeah, that's the San Antonio Holmes catch was the one against the Cardinals.
No, I know. I'm saying I don't really remember that one.
Oh, okay.
And then, thankfully, I barely remember the helmet catch too. I do remember going to school the next day, and everybody being like, "Oh, what happened?" Because I was in like third grade.
Yeah, that was tough times for the kid that day.
But I mean, I think he's the best quarterback out of that draft class. He's probably a top man.
I'd say 15.
I don't want to disrespect. You say 15 of all time.
I say 15, 20. But I'm 20.
I was going to go top 30.
I don't see 30 guys. You can see 29. You can see 29 other guys. I don't see.
Listen, I would actually have to sit down and make a list. But in my head, at the moment, that sounds right. But I would have to sit down and like actually go through it. I mean, I don't think he's top 10, so that's automatically 10. And then I think you have to get into like the whole, well, where do you put this guy? Because I think he's better, like, you know, controversial ones. But I don't know. 20, 30, 15, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'd say around there.
Because even of his generation, like, he's not better than Breeze, in my opinion.
No, of course not.
Listen, Rodgers is way better than him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Peyton is better than him.
His generation, he's probably top 7, top 8.
Yeah,
that's fair to say.
I would say that's fair.
Yeah,
and I mean, even with people playing now, like Mahomes is probably going to end up being a better quarterback than him of all time. But we get to that road when we cross it. But yeah, there wasn't too much for this game. I think the Bills Chiefs game next week, best one of the weeks easily to me.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that after. Actually, no, CJ, you want to do the AFC divisional games after this, and then we'll go to the NFC and then do the NFC champion or divisional games? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to talk. Yeah, because obviously Cowboys and the Cardinals, they blundered.
Yeah. All right. So how about we switch to the divisional games for the AFC? We'll set up the AFC side of the bracket, then we'll go over to the NFC. We'll deal with that. And like I said, I kind of want to start off with, because you got anything on the Steelers Chiefs? Anything groundbreaking?
No, I would just say Chiefs finally got their offense going. I mean, what they scored 4 touchdowns,
42,
yeah, like 5 touchdowns in like 4 minutes, 10 minutes, or something like that.
Well, it had to, because they scored 6 total, right? Because I mean, Mahomes had 5, and then Travis Kelce out here throwing one. Yeah. So disrespect.
The offense was on point. Early in the beginning, TJ Watt took one to the crib. I was like, okay, they might come with some fight, but
a little concern there for a second. I
yeah,
was like, oh,
for
look at
sure, yeah.
this.
So they had a few 3-and-outs, but once it was like that second quarter, and it was like I said, like 10 minutes left. That's when it really started to get ugly, and the Steelers don't have. I mean, Big Ben just can't really push the ball down the field anymore.
Once
He really can't.
it's sad, but once the score reached 20 for the Chiefs, I was like, oh, the game's over. All right, pack it up, boys. Like it was like 21-7. I'm like, oh, this game is over, and it's not even going to be close. And
Right.
it ended up being 42-21.
Then Najee fumbled. It just started to spiral out of control.
First one of his career.
Crazy. It just started to spiral out of control for the man with a terrible pass by by the Steelers. I'm just to see what they do at quarterback. Really, that's the big question.
I saw some article that Mason Rudolph is the guy going forward next year.
Yeah, I feel like that's the right thing to say today. But once we get into late February, March, I think some things might be swirling around. I mean, obviously this team is not playing, but Russell Wilson said he wanted to explore his options. So we'll see what happens with that. I think that'd be a great franchise for him to go to. I mean, it's a lot of stability, great head coach, makes the most sense. I don't know about their capital and their draft situation. I don't know that per se right now. But if he were to go to a team, that'd be the best situation for him. Garoppolo's going to be available. I mean, we'll get into this game a little and shortly, but Garoppolo will be available. So I'm interested to see what they do at quarterback. They may go the Rudolph Haskins route, and just tank essentially tank for a year, and then maybe wait for Bryce Young, and maybe somebody else comes out and becomes a guy in the draft, in the 2023 draft. But that's the big question right now for Pittsburgh, and then for Kansas City, they did a great job, and I can't wait for that divisional matchup against the Bills. Worked out perfectly.
Yeah, look at you with the transitions. See, it's not only me, people. CJ, you guys don't know about it, but CJ carries me through this show. I barely know what I'm doing up here. I'm just here because I like to talk a lot. CJ actually knows things. The Bills travel to Kansas City once again, and to a place where the Bills went into Kansas City and beat them. I think it was pretty handily, early on in the year. But obviously, a lot of things have changed since then. The Chiefs' defense has started to play a lot better. Their offenses looked better. You got to remember, earlier in the year, we were talking about Kansas City missing the playoffs, and they're the number 2 seed now, and they have home field again, unless they play the Titans. So it's obviously a different game. But, Josh Allen obviously progressed over this year. The Bills are now starting to run the ball pretty effectively, where, obviously earlier on in the year, we were talking about how they don't even know what a running back looks like. So this is Clash of the Titans. This is probably the third and fourth best quarterbacks left, I would say. I think you got to put Brady and Rodgers 1, 2. And then after that, Mahomes and Allen, I think it's pretty obvious.
For sure, 100%.
And listen, honestly,
you could put Burrow. You could say Burrow, but maybe.
Yeah. And if you look at it objectively, without putting the names behind it, you could argue Allen was better than Mahomes this year. So even if you want to put, Allen in that 3 spot and Mahomes at the 4, I wouldn't be mad at you. I'm also, a big Josh Allen guy, even though I'm a Patriot fan, so it doesn't really make sense. I just like being right. But yeah, this is the game that I'm obviously most excited for. I want to see, are the Bills going to get over that hump? You remember the picture last year of the AFC Championship game where Stephon Diggs is standing watching the Chiefs celebrate and wanting to be back next year. Well, it's not the championship game, but it's the divisional round, and you're going back. So it's kind of the thing of can they get their revenge? And I think it's very possible. You got to think about it too. CJ, you get 3 points in the betting world, and we all know Vegas is always right usually. You get 3 points in the betting world for being at home. This line opened up at 2.5. So technically, if you really want to look at it, Vegas is saying the Bills are the better team. And do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? That's up to you. I don't know where I fall on it either. I think it's just such a tightly contested contest that I don't really know. Like, we're gonna predict these games, obviously. Probably all the way at the end when we break them down, but this is hard. I think, if the Bills, who have that number one defense now, you have to remember, if they can get one turnover and the Bills can get any points from it, obviously you want a touchdown, but I even think a field goal helps you. If they can get that one turnover, I think they're pretty well. And I think it's the same thing for the Chiefs. And, it's the obvious thing of, well, of course, every team wants turnovers. But, Josh Allen can be a little erratic at sometimes. I think he tries to play Superman a few too many times during the games. So he could give you one. But Mahomes was tied. No, I think it was Stafford was tied with Lawrence for the most interceptions. But Mahomes was right there as well. He had double-digit interceptions this year. A lot of them, bounced off the hands of receivers. So as the Bills, defense, you have to be ready for that as well. The little ricochets. If Mahomes gives you one, with one of those cross-body passes. But this is going to be an unbelievable game. I think if the Bills can pass effectively, which I don't have really any doubt they can do, and they can get, maybe that 7-10 point lead where they can start using Josh Allen, as the running back and start getting the running backs involved a little bit. I think that's their key to victory. And then for the Chiefs, I think it's just not making the mistake either. Like I said, both of these teams have very high-powered offenses, can go off at any moment. So if the Bills give you a turnover, you got to take advantage of it, and you can't make the mistake. I think obviously the passing game is going to be huge for the Chiefs. They don't really run the ball anyway. So you got to look at Kelsey, you got to look at Hill to have big games in this one, but you got to get some support from the other guys, Pringle, Hardman, see what they can do. But this is going to be a great game. At least I should say, hopefully, because we thought there were going to be a few good games, and then wild card weekend said never mind.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. It's really going to come down to just talent, man. For the simple fact that the Spagnuolo likes to run man-to-man defense, and the Chiefs have man beaters, and Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce is great, and also McCole Hardman as well. Pringle's done a really good job. Even McKinnon, Jared McKinnon has played pretty well in that game against Pittsburgh. So you could have him roll out against a linebacker. He can make some plays. So this is going to be a true chess match between Eric Bieniemy and Leslie Frazier on what's being called, and also on the other side with Brian Daboll and Steve Spagnuolo as well. So I think this is the best game, maybe other than San Fran and Green Bay.
You think that game is better than Tampa Rams?
Tampa Rams. Tampa Rams. It is going to be good. I mean, if Godwin was there, I think it'd be just even better. But that's going to be a good game too. But I think Chiefs and the Bills is definitely number one on my list, just because of the young quarterbacks they met before in the AFC Conference Championship game last year. Buffalo responded in the regular season by going to Arrowhead, and Josh Allen had one of his best games of his career on Sunday Night Football, hurdling over a guy. If he's able to run the football, and if he's able to just relax and kind of play how he played against New England, just settle down, take what the defense gives him, and then as soon as there's a little bit of crease, like run the football, because like you said, his ability to run the ball takes Mahomes off the field, keeps Mahomes off the field. You control that clock, and they could definitely play that way. But we've seen the Chiefs be able to score like that. Like I said, they scored 5 touchdowns in 10 minutes, so they could score fast, and it's going to be a great chess match, man. I'm really excited to see what happens. Buffalo has a great defense, and the Chiefs have some solid guys as well. Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram, those guys are going to have to get to Josh Allen. They're going to have to contain him and get to him and make it difficult. Oh,
CJ is so locked into this Knick game right now. And I only know that because I'm watching the Knick game right now as well, and I know
this dude couldn't even get the steal, bro. I mean, I don't know,
this
bro.
Man, RJ, bro.
Yes. But yeah, it's this is I'm excited. I'm excited for this one, man, for sure. I mean, listen, I know New England got clapped by the Bills, but I'd much prefer watching this game because of the dynamic of the quarterbacks.
Caesar, that's a question too. Now, do you root? First of all, two separate questions here. Do you root for the Bills to win the Super Bowl now, so you can say you lost to the Super Bowl team, even though they're in your division? Second, now that the Patriots are gone, who do you root for?
I'm not rooting for anybody if it's not New England, bro. Keep it a stack with you.
Okay.
Buffalo wins, cool. I don't think they will. I think I don't give the predictions, but kind of gave it away. I think Kansas City wins it, but yeah, I'm just at this point. I'm just a football fan. Just want to see some great football, and I think these are two of the best guys right now playing, and they met last year, and like you said, Stephon Diggs standing down when the confetti was coming down, standing there, realizing, oh my gosh, bro.
CJ, the Nick fan. It's tough out here. That's a sign of defeat right there.
I don't know what Ali Burks is doing, bro.
Yeah, I don't know how he was feeling on that shot, but he should have felt a different way about it.
That's tough. Football fans, my bad. But yeah,
listen, this is real life, people. This is what happens when you do a show live.
Yeah, football, but yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see these guys play, and it's gonna be a great one. Sunday 6:30, CBS. You got Romo and Nance doing the game, so definitely gonna be fun.
Yo, did you see how mad Troy Aikman was that they were doing the 49er game?
Yeah, he was salty.
Oh, but I heard, and this proves the power of football, I heard CBS paid $72 million to get the rights for that game.
It's a classic. They're gonna make it.
And
they probably made it right.
Probably paid off.
Yeah, they probably paid it off. You said $72 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably got that back already.
$72 million for one game. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
On top of the billions of dollars they've already paid to the NFL to have their rights. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It really is. But hey, that's the power of football. We'll see the power of the old versus the new here, CJ, with the Titans and the Bengals. I'm excited for this one too, especially because looking to shape up to be the return of the king. Derrick Henry should be back in this one. So you're going to have basically a full-strength Tennessee Titan team going up against a full-strength Cincinnati Bengal team. There aren't really, with Henry back, I don't really see too many injuries on either side, at least major ones, I should say. But I'm going to be really interested to see, what the Bengals can do. The Titans have had a low-key, nice defense this year. Obviously, they don't get talked about anything crazy, but they can get some pressure on you. And we obviously know the level that the Bengal offensive line is at. They gave up the most sacks in the NFL this year, which, by the way, the quarterback that's been sacked in the NFL the most ever has never made it to the Super Bowl. Now, not even ever made it. So could be a first if the Bengals decide to make a Super Bowl run this year. But I think it's going to be great. It's obviously going to all be about the offense once again, because I think it's, as funny as it is to say, the Bengal offense versus Derrick Henry. I think that they're going to run the ball a lot, obviously, with having Henry back. Like I said earlier in the show, the Bengals gave up around 4.6 yards per carry. So they're obviously going to try and exploit that, weakness in the Bengals defense. And then, for the Bengals, they're going to have to come out and do what they've been doing all year. You stick with the things that got you to this part, or to this point in the season, I should say. So they're going to come out throwing, I don't know if anybody watches Madden streamers, but shout out my guy Toke right here. They're going to come out throwing 50 different kinds of smoke, as he likes to say. You're going to have Jamar Chase, you're going to have Higgins, you're going to have Boyd. You'll see what Mixon can do, even Pirine back there, a nice pass catching back out of the backfield. So I think it's really the Bengal offense versus, King Henry. And it's kind of the same question I have for the Titans all the time is if you get down in this game, say, those first two possessions, the Bengals sell out for the run and, maybe Tannehill misses a pass and it's, maybe you start off 10-0 and it's the end of the first quarter all of a sudden. Is that when you start getting a little nervous and you have to, force Tannehill to throw the ball a little bit more where they're probably not comfortable with? So the Titans have to play, a certain way to win, it feels like, although they are the number one seed. So they've obviously won in different ways this year and didn't have Henry for most of it. But I think if they get down in this game, that's when you, as a Titan fan, are like, oh, God, I'm putting my faith in Ryan Tannehill, the guy who threw 4 interceptions against the Texans. He has the worst touchdown interception ratio of all the quarterbacks in the playoffs. Not left, but in the playoffs in general. So that's not what you love to see from the person that's supposed to be leading your team. But I'm still excited for this game, man. A young and up-and-coming team versus, Ryan Tannehill, who's been around for a while, King Henry, who's been around for a little bit, but we obviously know how great he is, and then Mike Vrabel, who's done an unbelievable coaching job this year. 2 very good head coaches in this game, both squarely in the Coach of the Year race. So I'm excited, man.
Likewise, you look at Tennessee. Henry, Vrabel just said today that Henry's doing some practice contact now, which is good. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. Tennessee's defense definitely much improved from last year when they got knocked out in the first round by the Ravens. Jeffrey Simmons, those guys, Kevin Byard, Bud Dupree. They have some pretty good players on that defense. I mean, I get talked about a lot, but they do a great job collectively. It's going to be a tough test because even though the Bengals have elite skill position players at wide receiver, have a really good tight end, they still want to run the football. They want to give it to Joe Mixon and then set everything else up from that. And honestly, the Titans want to do the same thing. They want to run the football, give it to 22, and get the play action going. Tannehill has to play well. He has to play well. He can't afford to have 2 interceptions and the defense, picks it off and they, put it right there in the territory for the Bengals to easily score a touchdown. You can't play that way. You have to play smart, methodical football, run the ball, use your legs, use your athleticism. That's what's gotten you to have so much success your post-Dolphins career. And just play smart. You don't have to do so much. You got some talented guys on the outside. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown are going to be playing in this game. Just do your job. That's it. We know you're not at the level of some of these other guys that are playing this weekend, but that's okay. As long as you get the W, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So he just has to play. Just stick to his role. We'll see what Henry's pitch count is. I don't know if it's going to be, back to how it used to be. You might see a lot of Deontay Foreman. We might see a lot of Hilliard as well. I think we'll see a mix of all 3 of those guys. I think we'll probably see Henry more as the game winds down, obviously, because he's the better player. And Cincinnati's defense is going to have to step up. I mean, like I said, Josh Jacobs was getting some solid runs, but they just kept getting called back because of holds and things like that. So if the Titans are able to get those runs going, keep Joe Burrow off the field, keep that offense off the field, it's definitely a recipe for success for Tennessee. Cincinnati going to have to do something similar as well. Can't turn the ball over. Joe Burrow's, a really good quarterback. Second game going into Tennessee, hostile territory, for sure. That crowd is going to be rocking in Nashville. Can't wait for this game too. This is going to be a great game. This Saturday game, and I don't know. We're going to get to our predictions a little bit later after we talk about the NFC side, but I think it's going to be a really good game. You got Mike Vrabel, who I think is going to be Coach of the Year, and then you got Zach Taylor, who's probably right there, also as a top runner-up, as Coach of the Year for the 2021-2022 season. Now we have a chance to see who's really going to deserve that award because it's when it matters.
Well, shout out to the people in the color cast, obviously, too. Got to give us some love out here. Julian rocks. We got Christian here, Corey's in here, Perry, Matt. Now, there's one name in here.
Appreciate you guys, man.
That I really do. I need some feedback here. Mr. Christian, I saw that you joined. So with that being said, I gotta know, brother.
Christian
Do
was
I
good,
start
brother.
off? Do I start off with the Rams game that you attended, by the way, or do you want me to go to your favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, and talk about that one? Christian, I need your feedback on this one, brother. Because how about this? I'll wait for your feedback to see if I get one in the chat. If not, we'll move on. Because I think we can start with this one, by the way, CJ. Because this is another one that we barely have to talk about. Tampa Bay and the Eagles. I mean, it was a massacre out there. This was not even a really competitive game. I think it's what a lot of people expected as well. You have, Tom Brady, who's I think what was Jalen Hurts like 2 years old when Brady was making Super Bowl starts, it seems like. So you obviously knew that they were going to win this game. I thought it'd be a little bit closer because listen, I was listening to all the people out there saying that there was supposed to be a tsunami during this game, and it never happened.
Didn't
Never
happen.
happened.
It's bright as day. No
Yeah,
rain.
bright as day.
It
So
picked
I'm a
up. It
little
picked up.
upset.
It picked up a little bit later, but the game.
The game was
the game
already
was done.
over. I wanted a monsoon out there. I wanted a monsoon on the field. Brady versus Jimmy, the ex-wife versus the second wife. That's the matchup I want to see. I mean, hey,
could happen.
I wouldn't be mad at it. But yeah, I mean, this Tampa game, obviously, the Bucks run away with this one. And, the thing after this is, what do you think you do with Hurts? And I think CJ, me and you have said our piece on it. Listen, it was Hurts' first full season. He went from like a 50% completion percentage last year to 61 this year. 61 still isn't, to the level that you want, especially in today's NFL. You'd probably like to get it to the 64 mark, 65, in a perfect world. But listen, I'm giving him one more year. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh yeah, Jalen Hurts is the savior to the Eagles franchise and he's the next Tom Brady and Joe Montana and mixed into one person. Like, I'm giving him another year. They have 3 first-round picks. They should pick another wide receiver. They should get a linebacker. They should get another O-lineman with those first 3 picks. After that, you do whatever you have to do, fill out the holes. You see what they do in free agency. I improve the team for this year, and then I see what the Eagles do next year. And if the quarterback is the person that is holding them back, then okay, you move on. It's kind of one of those situations that's kind of where I look at for the Eagles. It's and I want to say this properly. I want to get to a point with each team where you should be able to make the decision clear on your football team with the quarterback. Like for the Browns right now, I don't think Baker is as bad as he was this year because obviously he was hurt the entire time. But if he comes out next year and is mid again, which a lot of people think he will be, then with that roster, it's the quarterback that's holding you back, right? So you go out and you try to acquire one that's even better. And then you can look at the Eagles next year. If Jalen Hurts loses them a couple games and you can like literally point to what he did throughout the game and say, okay, he threw an interception for absolutely no reason. That's a reason we lost the game. He did this. That's a reason we lost the game. Or if the team is very solid and you can say, okay, the quarterback is not the reason we're winning. We're kind of winning in spite of him. That's when I move on. But to not give him another year and just pass him on, I wouldn't do that yet. I mean, people can have their own opinions, whatever. Because like, here's my other thing too. Like, what's your backup plan? Are you gonna go Gardner Minshew? Listen, he played.
People are high on Minshew, man. I saw Joe Theismann tweet something out. He was like, "Hurts is bad" or something like that. And then look at the comments. People were ripping him after the leg injury and stuff. And then somebody commented, they should have went with Minshew. And then he said if they want a passer, yeah, they should put him in there. So a lot of people are high on Minshew mania, man. I don't see it.
That's my thing. But, CJ, it's the classic story, man. It's almost it's basically like Romeo and Juliet right now. We fall in love with the backup every time the starter doesn't play well. That game up in Kansas City where people said that Brady should be benched for Jimmy G. Like, really? That's what we were doing at that point. How many times is it Nick Foles should be a full-time starter in this league? He went out and won a Super Bowl. guess what? He's a career backup because the minute he's named the starter, it's like, you pour water on a witch. It disappears. So, listen, everybody falls in love with the backup after, that
It's
one
no
good game.
pressure.
Perfect example. CJ, I got a question for her. We both New Yorkers, right? After that one fateful day during the season, how much did we hear about Mike White?
Yeah, same thing. Jimmy G's
How
done
much did
nothing.
we hear about Mike White? And then after he got injured, never heard about him ever again. Not one time did we hear about him again.
Yeah, but again, he's a backup. See Corey in the color cast. Jimmy G's done nothing but get W's. Yeah, he's solid. But we're talking about during the time 2014. And people were saying, he should have put Jimmy in there over time. It's like that's laughable. Now, now he has an opportunity. He's done okay. Not the best, but he's good. He's a winner. He's like Alex Smith. He's Alex Smith. That's really what he is, but younger.
That's fair. Not a game changer.
Yeah.
Like I've said, he's one of the cars being pulled by the train. He ain't pulling nobody behind him.
Yeah, right. When your coach is literally on 3rd and 11, doing a toss to Deebo Samuel, I mean that says everything you need to know.
Let's see if Minshew can be competent.
Yeah, I mean he didn't get a fair shot in Jacksonville. That's fair. It's fair. It's a fair argument. You know what I mean? If he goes out there and beats Jalen Hurts out and in training camp next offseason, kudos to him. He deserves a spot. If he beats Hurts out, I'm not against it. Like I said, Jacksonville is not. It's tough to really judge him. He had some okay games. He was solid here and there, but it was the Jaguars. So yeah, again, if he competes with Jalen Hurts next year, because when Jalen Hurts is rookie this year, he had Flacco. I mean, Flacco was just a veteran guy, but Minshew he wants an opportunity to be a starter someday. So I think that's going to be a nice quarterback battle. Again, back to this game, it's like, yeah, I didn't see it being close, and it really played out that way. Tristan Wirfs going down, his health is definitely going to be a factor. If I'm the Eagles, Corey says, if I'm the Eagles, I go get a QB via trade or free agency. They have the assets, but to me, their team is not. I mean, yeah, they made the playoffs, but they still need a lot of work to do on the team. They're not really. They really made the playoffs in a rebuilding year.
The only way I'm going and getting a quarterback is if I trade for Watson or Russell Wilson. Everybody else I'm good on.
Yeah, they need defense. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great defensive guys coming out in this draft. Some really good guys. So, well, they need a lot of work, and I feel like they need that draft capital. And you just wait one more year, see what happens. Give Hurts another shot. I mean, he got you to the playoffs in his second year. And yeah, again, for this game, Tampa Bay they did a great job. Mike Evans got it going. Gronk got it going. Keyshawn Vaughn, a guy that really didn't get any playing time pretty much his entire career. As soon as Fournette goes down, who else?
Ronald Jones went down.
Ronald Jones went down as well. They brought in Le'Veon Bell. Giovanni Bernard missed time, and he's really stepped up. He's really stepped up. He's a small guy, but it looks like he can run between the tackles and make things happen. So he might be a key factor. Brady likes to throw to these running backs. Giovanni Bernard is kind of like a mini James White. Push come to shove, they play a certain coverage, and the running back's open. He's going to get it to him and let him do the rest. And I think that they got some solid. They have enough pieces. Tyler Johnson, want to see him catch the ball a little bit more. He had some drops early on. He started to pick it up later. Scotty Miller really hasn't gotten to the fold as of late. Like we saw last year, how well he played in the offseason and definitely, in the postseason and down the stretch. But I think in this game, in their game against the Rams, those guys are going to have to step up because the Rams are going to try to circle. They're going to circle Gronk, and they're going to put Ramsey on Evans. So those other guys are going to have to definitely step up. Philadelphia, yeah, they made the playoffs. Great accomplishment. Got a playoff berth, and you just keep building the team. Can't play zone defensive versus Brady is laughable.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you gotta get to Brady. You gotta get to Brady. And at times they did. I mean, Ryan Kerrigan had a couple sacks. Fletcher Cox really hasn't been the same over the last 2 years or so. He used to be a real dominant 3 technique. it's kind of lost a step a little bit. And when if that offensive line, if you keep Brady upright, obviously, and that's you can say that for every other quarterback, but for Brady, he's such a surgeon. If he's not dancing in the pocket and he's just standing in there, it's going to be a tough night.
Well, I think I'm going to save this game for last because it's just my favorite. Another laughable night, or a tough night, I should say, was for Cardinal fans out there. They get smacked 34-11 against the Rams. I mean, listen, for a game that I thought was actually going to be fun.
Stone Sports, how you doing, brother?
My guy, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
This was an absolute nothing burger of a game. Kyler Murray did his best Carson Wentz impression with that interception in the end zone.
I don't know what that was.
Bro, here's my thing too, right? At that point in the game, it was 14-0. So you're down 16-0 and you're punting the ball back to them if you get that safety.
For safety, right.
Instead of the 21-0 when you threw a pick six interception on the worst pass attempt I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was a dagger right there.
Finished some dinner, wrapping up notes, had to come listen for a bit. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate the listen time for us. But yeah, I mean, Stafford only had to throw the ball like 17 times in this game, something like that. I think he was 13 for 17. He threw 2 touchdowns, snuck one in on a QB sneak. The game was practically over before it started in this one. Like I said, it was not very competitive at any points. Like there was no point where I thought Arizona was going to come back. Odell had a touchdown in this game, threw a nice 40-yard pass as well.
Yeah, to Cam Akers coming back 5
and that's the
5
thing.
months
Cam Akers, bro.
X factor.
Man coming off an Achilles injury looking like nothing happened. What I think he had did he have 90 rush yards or 90 total yards?
Might have been total, yeah, because the 40-yard reception, and then it might have been he had a big run too where he cracked Buda Baker. Glad he's doing well as well. He got rocked. Had to leave off a stretcher. Tough.
But this game was just non-competitive. Kyler was over his head, no pun intended. You know what I mean? Short guy joke.
Sheesh.
But hey, Cliff Kingsbury was in over his head as well. Saw some tweets after the game that Kyler played bad, but even today, just listening to some stuff, a lot of people saying that Kingsbury didn't even give Kyler a chance to be successful in this game. And in a way, I kind of agree with it. You would think that they would call some rollouts or some QB draws or something like that for Kyler to use his legs, which is obviously probably his greatest weapon. I would want to say,
especially at his size, definitely.
Man, about to be playing baseball after this.
I saw those memes with him in the athletics uniform on. I was
listen. All I'm saying is, Kyler, you were like the 5th pick, I think, in the MLB draft. So hey, if you decide you want to, sure the Yankees could use you, no problem. We'll get Kyler over here, a little off season. He'll play baseball, through training camp and all that. Go back to football, and then we'll get him back in the World Series. Why not? I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just trying to make you a dual athlete over here. I want you to be the Bo Jackson of our era, okay? Or maybe a Deion Sanders type of situation.
Yeah, Deion, definitely. Probably better example.
But CJ, what did you take away from this game, if anything? Because, like I said, this was a smackdown.
I think just experience was the key in this matchup. Cliff Kingsbury is really just. I don't know what their game plan was. I didn't see the post-game press conference, so I'm unsure what the reporters asked him, but or anything pre-game or something like that. What the game plan was. I mean, they really didn't run the ball successfully, and that's with Edmonds, Connor, or Kyler. I know D-Hop was out, but it's like once D-Hop is out, it's like the offense has been non-existent. Really, they've really struggled to score at times, and. You look, and they kind of played bad. I mean, they beat Dallas, but it was kind of a close game, and Dallas was really just handing them the game. Then the game, I think the Seahawks put 50 on them, right? If I'm not mistaken, 51.
I don't know if it was 50, but
it might have been 30, 37.
It was like I thought it was like 38-33 the last week of the season, something like that.
Okay, yeah, it was definitely, but it was definitely a shocker. I mean, to me, it looked like the Seahawks had that game throughout the majority of the game. And I was shocked by that. How about them? Yeah, we're about to get. We're about to
See,
get to the
Christian,
boys.
I've been waiting for you. I saved the Cowboy game for last so you could be here. You're welcome, by the way.
Kingsbury is really just over his head the whole time. I know a lot of people have been questioning why he deserves the job. He didn't do a great job at Texas Tech. Also other places he's been at. They just weren't ready. They weren't ready. And I got to give credit to Raheem Morris, defensive coordinator for the Rams. Did a phenomenal job keeping Kyler in the pocket, keeping him frantic, really didn't know what to do. It was some times where he had the read open. He just kept the ball and just chilled in the pocket and wait till Von Miller and Aaron Donald got to him. It was really just a dominant performance by Los Angeles' defense. Offensively, they just did what they had to do. I mean, they really didn't need to do too much. Like you said, Matthew Stafford only threw the ball 17 times. They ran the ball well. Sony Michel, Cam Akers did a solid job. And when they got in the end zone, they made the most of it. They got one to Odell. Kupp had a nice touchdown pass. Higbee played solid. So I think it was just a good game, a good overall game, complimentary game by the Rams on Monday night. And they're gonna have to continue to do that. They're gonna have to play that way against Tampa Bay if they want a chance to advance to the NFC Conference Championship game. Arizona, I guess you could say I don't want to really give them a pass because they really didn't play with any fight. Like you said,
this is another situation though where, to be fair, Kyler's first playoff game, like I said,
for a first playoff game, but it's just they didn't really. They really didn't do anything. There were times where it's like, okay, like they could score, they could drive down the field, and it just never happened. Go down the field, and it just never happened. And that play like you said, that play where he flipped it up, that's just a bad play. I know you don't want to get a safety, but you're right there. I mean, it's probably better off to get the safety than pick six.
Absolutely.
So credit to the Rams. They did a great job of just playing great on all three phases. And they advanced, and they got a tough test, a team that they beat in the regular season in Tampa Bay, and I can't wait for that one.
Before we get into this Cowboy game, I saw a while ago that Matt had requested the hot seat, and he's back in the stream now. So, Matt, I'm going to give you a minute to say your piece. We're going to move on, and then we're going to move on to this 49er Dallas game because I can't wait. I'm a big fan. So, Matt, putting you on the hot seat right now, my brother. Let's get you in here. Our USN brethren over here. Matt, what's going on there, brother? And how we doing?
We are doing great this fine Taco Tuesday, as I like to call it. Packers got the 49ers to prepare for on Saturday, and I will say I am slightly nervous. I don't want Debo snatching any chains on our defense or Elijah Mitchell running it down. I just want us to take care of business.
I don't blame you. Listen, we're gonna give our predictions. But, Packers, not the best team in the world against the run. We know what the 49ers like to do. Matt, give me a key to victory here.
Key to victory has to be us not turning the ball over. We have to play clean football and put the pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. If we could pressure Jimmy, I think we're going to have great success. If we can play clean football on the offense, we're going to have a ways with them.
Well, Matt, I appreciate you coming on the show as always. You're my guy. And you have fun with the rest of this one. Hope you stick around and listen to us blabber a little bit longer.
Appreciate you, Matt, stopping by, brother.
All right. Let's get into the best game that I've ever watched in my life. That would be the 49ers and the Cowboys here. And it was a wonderful time. CJ, did I not say it on the show against the Cardinals? And, in this game as well, that every time the Cowboys have to prove themselves, they prove me right, that they don't do anything right. So they have, 14 penalties in this game? I think it was tied for the most in NFL playoff history. They were the most penalized team during the regular season. Actually fell 1 yard short of having the most penalty yards in the NFL this year as well. Excuse me. They were one game behind the Raiders for the most penalty yards.
There you go.
So, listen. Dak, 111 yards through the first three quarters, and then like a textbook, every single playoff game that I've ever watched, fourth quarter, Dak comes out. Hell yeah, 100 and like 30 something yards, I want to say, in the fourth quarter. Touchdown. They bring the team back. The interception that Jimmy G throws, and here come the Cowboys. Just to fall short again. $75 million for what? For what? A 1-3 playoff record. 2 of those losses, by the way, at home in the first playoff game. Two of them. So you got a $75 million person who can't win you playoff games at home. Very bold strategy, which, by the way, this is how you know the Cowboys knew that they weren't going to be good. They built their stadium so that the sun comes in, late in the season, because they never thought that they'd be playing that late into the season anyway. They thought that the sun wouldn't even matter that time of the year.
They can't close that off.
Oh no, it's the windows, like those giant windows.
Oh,
they have.
right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they might want to change that.
Yeah, even Jerry knew that they would never be playing that late into the season. They didn't think they'd have to worry about the winter solstice and all that. So, and then the creme de la creme here, right? The perfect way to end this game off. 17 seconds left or something of that nature. They run a QB draw up the middle, and Dak slides. The umpire comes racing up, trying to spot the ball. Time runs out on the season. I mean,
you think that was a bad play?
Yeah, it was a bad play. And you'll have people say, "Oh, it was bad execution. It's not a bad play."
I agree. I agree with that, bro.
No,
you don't think so?
Hell no.
Because look,
there would be
how,
no execution of the play if the play isn't called.
No, but I mean after the play, when Dak didn't give the ball to the ref instead of giving it to the.
That's another mistake. Yeah,
right.
That's the play call though.
But the 49ers were literally giving them the middle of the field. They had the safety and the corner playing the sideline. It's a good play. But after they got because they could have, if they would have did the right thing after the play, give the ball to the ref, then spot the ball, they would have been able to spike the ball and at least have a second or 2 seconds left. But what Dak did was give it to the center. The center spots it, and then the ref. That's why we got the background picture. And then the ref runs into Dak and then spots it. That's like 3-4 seconds right there. So they would have had some time to spike it and at least get a play right there, and it would have been definitely a lot closer had they executed the post play. Had the post play execution went down. That's where they messed up at. And then again, I mean, everybody's gonna say it's the Cowboys, of course, classic Cowboys. I mean, what can you say?
Go wrong, will go wrong.
Yeah, it's exactly as Stephen A would say. Like I said, people are like, oh, it's a dumb play, it's a trash play. I'm just saying it wasn't. Play. I just don't. But what else could they have done? Because if you look at how the 49ers played defense, they were giving them the middle of the field. It's smart by San Fran. Like, okay, you're gonna have to take the middle of the field and then spike the ball. That's what they were gonna do. But they just folded after the play was over.
Okay, but how about this then, CJ? So they're giving you the middle of the field, and you obviously have to get to the sidelines, right?
Right.
Even then, why don't you run a curl route in the middle of the field, catch it, drop to the floor, instead of a 20-yard run?
That's fair, but I mean, Dak probably looked at it like, okay, I could get closer, and then he at least had enough time to at least spike the ball and have one play left. And honestly, I mean, we don't know what would have happened if they would have got, we don't know what would have happened, obviously. But I just feel
but here's my other thing too. So those extra 20 yards he got, if he slides down after 10 yards, was being at the 40-yard line instead of the 30 that much of a difference?
Yeah. What you mean?
That's still Hail Mary, basically, or 4 verts.
But it's still closer.
Yeah, but you're still going to run the same play.
Right, but it's still a closer distance to the end zone than having to throw it.
If I eat a box of cereal on Thursday and then eat one on Friday, it's still the same cereal.
I mean, it's a little different. That's a little different because we don't know.
Okay.
what was going to happen at the end of the game. I feel like, again, like I said, the play wasn't bad to me. It was just what they did after was bad. Because if they had spiked the ball, nobody's saying, "Oh, why would he run the ball?" If they would have spiked the ball and been able to actually throw and get the play off, nobody would have said, "Oh, that's a bad. Why would you do a quarterback draw?" Nobody would have said that. But it was because after the play was over, they couldn't give it to the ref to spot it and get the spike off. That's why everybody's like, "Oh, why would you do the quarterback draw?"
Well, of course, when you live in a perfect world and hindsight's hindsight's 2020.
But that's not hindsight's 2020 but that's facts though. Nobody would have said, "Yo, that's a bad." If they would have got the spike,
but it didn't happen.
Right, that's because of what happened after the play. That's what I'm saying. The after the play is what.
But the after of the play is set up because of the play. If you don't call that play, the after never has to happen.
Either way, you would have had to still give the ball to the ref and spike it.
But like
it's
I
just
said,
it's just how they.
But if you do a 10-yard curl route and then fall to the ground or try to get to the sideline, no matter what, you're going to have enough time to get the spike down.
But the way Dak handled it to do the spike down was bad. That's the problem. He gave it to the center, and the center spotted it himself. He's supposed to give the ball to the ref.
Yeah.
So
the center might not be the brightest person either.
That's what makes the draw look worse because of what they did after the draw. And everybody's like, "Oh, why would you run?" Like I said, it wasn't a bad play. It was just the post play execution was terrible. You practice that. Of course you practice. They said they practice it. Of course you practice that. Every NFL team practices that. You give it to that's why we see Larry Fitzgerald do it. We see Larry Fitzgerald give it to the ref. We got tight at Claypool for doing the first down marker instead of giving it to the ref against the Vikings.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's my thing still.
The IQ got shot. The IQ was shot. I was like, they got it, and then honestly, if I'm the 49ers, I'm just laying on Dak. I just lay on him.
I'm honestly surprised that they didn't, because if you see the 49er player, he literally got off of Dak right away.
Probably because I think the ref might have called unsportsmanlike. I think that
like
might
one
be
of those delayed game things.
Yeah, that might be unsportsmanlike, which would have put them even closer.
Yeah.
So I get why he did that, but I just feel like the ref is booking. You gotta use ref. I'm giving the ball to the ref. Like, yo, like take the ball, spot it, and then the ref he sprints, he gets the ball. Then he touches it, he spots it, then he moves the ball and then spots it. Like those are precious seconds. They would have had time.
No, of course. I agree with all of that. That the post-play execution was bad.
But
I'm saying also, but I'm saying if the play's never called, there's never a reason for the execution after the play to happen.
But we're kind of saying the same thing, because I'm saying, okay, if he does a 10-yard
but you like the play. I hate it.
No, but either way, you had to take what the defense gives you, which is the middle of the field. So if you do a 10-yard curl, you still got to get the ball to the ref and to spike. You still got to do the same thing, and that's what I'm saying. That's where they messed up at.
Well, the 10-yard curl is different than the 25-yard run Dak had. That's another thing, which is $75 million to not even know how much time is left on the clock. What? Bro, get down. Like, you get your stupid self down.
I get you. I feel you. I feel like they would have had enough time. They would have had enough time. They would have had at least 3 seconds left had they just been smart and like give the ball to the ref. Let them spot the ball, hike, spike. You got at least 3 seconds left. Then you try Hail Mary or four verticals. Then you see what happens. But those precious seconds after he slid and got touched by the 49ers defender is what messed it all up. Nobody's talking about the draw if they spike the ball. Nobody's talking about the draw if they spike the ball. That's facts.
No, right? It is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
No, it is, but it's still it's still to me hindsight 2020. Because besides the execution, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? I mean,
right. But I'm saying, but we're not. I'm not. We're essentially saying the same thing, because again, San Fran gave them the middle of the field. You're saying do a 10-yard curl. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, you can do a 10-yard curl. It's still middle of the field, because San Fran's giving up the side, taking away the sideline. So you still gotta spike the ball. You still gotta spike. That's what I'm saying. Like we're saying.
No, you're right.
That's what
we're in this. Listen, CJ, we're in the same ballpark. We're just sitting on opposite sides of the field. We have a different view.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like, essentially. But I'm just saying, again, Cowboys are just, it's just, I don't know. I guess they cursed or something, bro. I don't know what it is.
Listen, didn't you
I don't
know?
know.
Jerry said he sold his soul to the devil to win that last Cowboy Super Bowl, and he said he would never ask for another one again.
Oh, well, there you go.
So,
why be a fan after he says that? Like,
until I mentioned the Big Ben old yeller, until the Jerry Jones happens.
I don't know. That's man, that's tough, bro. But let's get to the 59 minutes and 16 seconds, 46 seconds before that, right?
46 before that.
Let's get to that, because like you said, they have 14 penalties, right? Pre-snap penalties on both sides, false starts, encroachments, offsides. I mean, like, what are you doing? Now, they were the most penalized team in the NFL this year, and it really just, it was a true testament to the type of team that they are.
And you know what? Here's the other thing too. For as much as I hate Jerry Jones, he said it best. He ended the conversation we just had. He said there was no reason for us to be in that position anyway.
There you go. 23-7 going into the fourth.
You put up 17 points in your own stadium in a playoff game. See, and then that's where, shocker people, I'll disagree with Corey. He says you don't pay for playoff production. Dallas had one of the best offenses ever. That's what $75 million gets you. You don't play for playoff production.
Well, I mean, he got paid before with a 1-2 record. So
Well, I ain't paying for nobody then. What's the point of paying for somebody if you're not going to win when it actually matters? 11 wins is fine and dandy, but a first-round exit every year doesn't do anything for me.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, you had home field. They had one of the best offensive ever. Yeah,
one of the best offenses ever put up 17 points.
Yeah, they didn't run the ball exceptionally well this year. Their run game, and it spoke to that in this game. Zeke really didn't get it going. Tony Pollard really didn't get a lot of touches. I thought he'd get more touches in this game. He made more his like splash impact plays came off special teams. And we're saying Kellen Moore should be the next head coach. I mean, how? I mean, what are we? Then we're saying Dan Quinn. I'm like, Dan Quinn just coached a team that gave up the largest comeback ever in Super Bowl history. So with Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator on that team. So I don't understand how he should be the next head coach. Mike McCarthy, they're just gonna have to ride with McCarthy, man.
Stephen Jones already said he's coming back.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't, because again, Dan Quinn, just because he's a great defensive coordinator doesn't mean he's going to be a great head coach again. He had a great year as a coordinator. Great year. Turned Dallas's defense around. Did a phenomenal job. Got a lot of takeaways.
And guess what? He
Micah
also
Parsons
turned them around. Exactly. He turned them around when they got great personnel again.
Right. They got great they got great personnel. DeMarcus Lawrence had a resurgence this year. Definitely took a step back.
You have Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Parsons on your defensive line. A lot of coaching there.
Well, yeah, it is. Well, of course, it has to be coaching, because last year they had everybody except Parsons, and they had one of the worst defenses in NFL history. And that was with Mike Nolan. We just
compared Micah Parsons to Lawrence Taylor, though.
I mean,
well, not us, I shouldn't say, because we're smart and we don't overreact to things, but a lot of people.
He's a great player. He's obviously one of the difference makers. No doubt. But Dallas had this game, man. Jimmy was giving them. Was really giving them the game. I know Corey said Jimmy's a winner. Like I said, he's calm. He's cool. He's Alex Smith. He's cool. Get you wins. Great guy. But it's a reason why they traded up 2 draft picks to go get Trey Lance. Just facts. We'll see if it works out. We'll see. But that's why they did it. And their game plan is, Jimmy, don't mess it up. Do what you need to do. Be a really good game manager, which is fine. It's going to win you a lot of games, no doubt about it. But we're going to run the football. That first drive that they had in the game, that was
the easiest touchdown I've ever seen.
I thought after Dak threw the pick and then they scored, I thought it was wraps. I thought it was over. I thought it was done. I thought they were going to put up 37. I thought they were going to put up 37. But appreciate you, Stone Sports. Thanks a lot, man. Definitely going to check out the show after. I thought the game was going to be over. And I was like, man, it's embarrassing. But lo and behold, Jimmy gave it back to gave it back to Dallas. Honestly, even before that play, to get to the Hail Mary, they had a drive where they had an opportunity to tie it up and get the lead, actually. And they folded on that drive. They could have got the lead. It could have been 24-23.
Bro, and then just to
Penalties.
get to the drive, though, Jimmy sells because he doesn't wait for Trent Williams to get set at the line before the QB sneak.
Jimmy sells right there. Then the overthrow to Ayuk, wide open. Ayuk pretty much violated Trayvon Diggs on that double move. That was a great move. And
Christian, we've been talking about the Cowboys. Yeah, animal.
Yeah, we smell like a 30-minute debate.
Trey mid Diggs. I did coin that. I did coin that expression during this game. By the way, we got Whack Prescott, Trey mid Diggs.
He does need a lot of work. He does need a lot of work. Diggs got more violated than Perry. Oh man,
Perry's trying to guard you and pick up. Damn, that's crazy.
I don't know why he would try to do that, bro.
I need an LA Fitness GoPro vlog. Okay, Christian. Next time you go there, LA Fitness. Let me get a little camera set up in the corner. A nice little tripod. You got all that real estate investor money. Or hey, if you want to fly me out, Christian, I got a nice camera. Just saying. I ain't even got to play him like a center. I got guard skills. Oh,
Jokic. I heard.
All right. So when's the USN meetup? I'm still waiting on this. I just got boosted today. I'm there. I'm in there like swimwear.
Yeah, Dallas. They really folded this game, man.
When y'all break 1 million views.
Yeah, listen,
coming soon. You feel me?
That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be tough, man. But yeah, the Cowboys, they had this game, bro. They really did. They stagnant offense. They didn't run the football. I know. What's their record when they rush over 100 yards?
Yeah, they're like 8 I thought they were like 7-0, 8-0 this year, maybe.
Yeah, even since Dak's been there, the record's been something crazy like that.
Well, also, here's the thing: a beautiful stat that I love. 6-0 against the NFC East this year, 6-6 against everybody else if they include this playoff game. Just saying. How many times do I have to tell people, CJ? How many times do I have to tell people this? That they win against the NFC East, they get everybody excited, and then they play a good team and they can't play them. I'm almost getting tired of it.
Yeah, Dak didn't step up, man. I think Kellen Moore with his play calling, he's trying to make Dak something that he's not. And
I saw a lot of people say he was throwing the game on purpose to get the head coaching job.
Really? I mean, that would be terrible. I mean, winning.
Imagine,
but that's the thing. But for people that say that, like for those type of conspiracy theories, it's like winning would help his case to get a head coaching job, even if it's not in Dallas. So that doesn't even make sense. Like you throwing the game doesn't help your case to get a higher position job. That's. But anyways, this is like you said, they're 6-6 against other teams outside the NFC East, and they showed why in this game. Just too inconsistent. They couldn't run the ball. CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch. Dalton Schultz had the most receiving yards on the team. Nobody would ever thought that going into this game. Amari Cooper had that 1 touchdown. He had okay catches here and there.
This is a conspiracy I can get behind. NFL put the Cowboys in the worst division to make the playoffs every year. I can get behind that one.
I mean, they've barely done that.
You know what? You're right. But I can still get behind it just because they could see CJ. They couldn't make it too obvious, though. They couldn't have put them in the, that.
I mean, Garrett is Mr. 8-8. You feel me? Like when he was there.
Could you imagine? Imagine though, how I'm trying to let me look at the team. Imagine the tears that would fall from the NFL's eyes if 1 year, like no LA team made it, the Cowboys didn't make it, and like the 49ers didn't make it, like probably the bigger fan bases. Like imagine like a year where the Bengals and like the Texans are the top 2 seeds in the AFC, and like the NFC, it was like damn, who's failing in the NFC?
NFC, like the Lions.
Yeah, like the Lions and somebody else with a 1 seed. The NFL would sit there and rearrange the playoffs on purpose. So all 15 fans can tune in. Exactly. Christian, that's my point, though. The NFL would be in shambles.
Definitely.
They'd be like, oh, my God, no Cowboys? How are we going to program our shows for the next week and a half?
Yeah, only way that would be fire is if those teams had some excellent quarterbacks. Where it's like if Mahomes is on the Lions or some shit like that, like that would have been like, okay, cool, But still, Dallas.
Yo, CJ, I got a great idea for the NFL. I got a great idea. Every decade, every player's a free agent. They do a fantasy draft. Team with the worst record of the 10 years gets to pick first. And boom, you just go like that. Every 10 years. Shake up the NFL. There you go. I just gave you NFL. I just gave you a $3 billion idea.
The only problem with that is there's already parity, though, in the NFL. So it's like...
No, but you really help those bottom-level teams. Like, imagine the Lions get the first pick. It's like, and their team ends up being like Mahomes and Justin Jefferson and Nick Chubb. And all of a sudden, it's like, damn, the Lions won the Super Bowl? I'm telling you, CJ.
That would be wild. But then it's just so many other factors, bro. Who's their head coach? Did they get the best head coach, too? They get
Bill. They get the best, no longer the Pats.
They get the best scouts and everything. Like, everything would have to fall in line.
No. You keep the front office and head coaches, everything. It's just players.
That would be.
Let's play real life Madden, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that's some Madden fantasy draft. Christian says Cowboy losing unifies the country more than Joe Biden ever could. For sure.
I mean, listen, nothing unifies the country more than the Cowboys loss. Nothing. Cowboys lost.
I'm not even like a Cowboy hater. I got the background because obviously this was the most polarizing game of the weekend, and then.
And you guys, job, so.
You guys will see the cover photo. I mean, Sorry Perry is Cowboy based as well for the episode, but I mean, it's just that it's people love to hate them. That's it, and just the way they lose. It was really a movie. That was a movie. That was really a movie. There was so many
Friday Night Lights. Like
it was so many ups and downs,
ending.
And then the way the way it ended too, and the ref is like. That's the end of the game. No review.
It sounds, bro. You know what it reminded me of? You know what it reminded me of? In all seriousness, if you ever play like Wii Sports and you hit a home run and they go home run, like that's what the ref sounded like. He was like, "The game is over."
He's like, "And the game is over," and he just started hit the chats because he already knew. Like,
bro,
like,
and that was the other thing with Dak. You little crybaby. When they said that, they were throwing stuff at the players. Oh, we work our tails off, blah blah blah. And then when they find out it was to the refs, he said, "Oh, good on them." Then listen, Mr. Dak. Maybe they should throw some trash at you because that's what you are.
They threw it at DeMarcus Lawrence and he blocked it with his helmet. Did you see the video?
I did see it. Yeah,
he blocked it with his helmet. I'm like, wow, bro.
Nah, my favorite thing though. Was everybody talking about Dak's leadership after the game? Because like you heard like the story of like how Dak told all the players to give him like $500 for the practice squad or whatever, and everybody in the comments is like, "Yeah, you should tell him to lead the team to a victory for once in the playoffs." And oh my god, it was fantastic.
Yeah, he's about that post game presser. I wasn't a fan of that. For him to say credit to the.
Yeah, now he came out and gave the apology tour. And I was caught up in the moment.
Yeah, it was emotional. I was about to say that was an emotional based answer. You can't say that. They were probably throwing it at both parties, honestly. But it should have been more so the players than anything, because you can't sit there and watch that game and say, it was because of the refs. You had 14 penalties. You had multiple opportunities. You had a drive with like
that holding call was the worst thing I've ever seen on that last drive by the 49ers.
Which you mean Gregory when he held it?
When Gregory tackled the offensive lineman who wasn't even doing anything.
I just when he did it, I'm like, bro. When they showed the replay, I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I just didn't understand it. I really didn't. It was just lack of discipline, and that just speaks to why they took the L. Tough.
Fantastic. Listen, CJ, remember at the beginning of this episode where we said we didn't have to do 2 hours?
I was just saying that in my head, bro.
Well, guess what? This is what happens when you have fun. That's what this show is about, people. This isn't, your ESPN where, you got critical, analysis on here. We're having fun and giving you some great takes. So, it turns into a longer episode. CJ, how about I know we didn't technically break down the games for the NFC side of things, and I think the Ram Buck game is going to be fantastic. I think can we both agree here that it's about getting pressure on Brady for the Rams, and then for the Bucks, it's hoping that Matthew Stafford actually has to throw more than 17 times, and he throws you one of those beautiful interceptions he liked to throw the last 4 weeks of the season. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, because Tampa Bay likes to stop the run, and they're gonna force, like you said, they're gonna force Stafford to be a guy, to be an elite quarterback and play that way if they want a shot. Definitely, and then Tampa, like you said, get the time, and you're gonna have success. That O-line, we see what happens with Tristan Wirfs. If he's not healthy, that's gonna be tough.
You smoking that Brady pack, says Christian. Yeah, listen.
Smoking that Brady pack.
Hey. I won't hint at what my pick is here, but
we got Thomas Lee 79 Bucks versus Bills in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay. I love that.
Okay.
Brady would probably love to see it too. 35-3 against them, he could go.
That regular season game ended up being really good. It started off by a blowout, and then the Bills started to come back. That'd be a nice rematch. Wouldn't be
CJ, to get to that point, they have to advance through this one first. So how about we predict these games before we go for another 2 hours? Even though I'd be okay with it because we're wildly entertaining. It's unbelievable. Cincinnati at Tennessee. The return. What Christian saying now? Brady's just playing so his Social Security hits harder. Yo, I saw because Isaiah Crowell on the Colts has a TikTok, and he talks about all the NFL stuff. Yeah. Bro, you get 350,000 for just for winning the Super Bowl, I think, and 150 for getting there. And I think in total, I think you make an extra no, I said that wrong. I think if you win the Super Bowl in total, you would make 350,000 extra, and for just making it there, you end up making around 200 something. Bro, imagine how much Brady has gotten just from the playoffs.
Yeah. That's why when he won Super Bowl MVP, he gave the car to James White.
This man probably got so many whips. He said, "Bro, what am I gonna do with it?" He said, "Tax write off every time."
Yeah, you could have.
You guys know Brady owns the Bills. Listen, we're Patriot fans, baby. We all know about Brady owning the Bills.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Josh Allen kind of trying to take ownership of that relationship. A little sad.
He got it for now, man. We'll see what happens. Man.
But CJ, like I said, Bengals at the Titans. King Henry's back. Joe Burr out here,
Burr.
Being the god that he is, Mr. Cool Guy. Who do you think wins this game?
I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I was just about to say Tennessee
at first. I heard.
Yeah, I was just about to say Tennessee. I just don't know if Henry is gonna come out and play like how he played, 10 weeks ago when he was almost rushed for 2,500 yards. It's just tough to say. He missed a lot of time. Yes, he's fresh, but I feel like for a power back, you really got to get into a rhythm. I don't know how he's going to play. It's tough for me to evaluate that, even though they have ran the ball pretty well in his absence. I just think Burrow makes some more plays than Tannehill does in a close one. I got the Bengals.
It's Joe Burr. Roll your R's. Christian, fun fact, can't roll my R's. Fun fact, can't do it. So I am literally incapable of saying it properly. Perry's spoken in the football chat. He's alive. Perry was in the chat earlier today. I called off the suicide watch, so it was good to see. But Christian was out there taking shifts, making sure that Perry was okay. Connie's so white he doesn't even season his mayo. Perry hasn't addressed the game. First of all, Christian, calm down. I am an Italian man. We know nothing but good food and seasoning over here. So calm yourself now. As a Christian, act like you're not white too. So I don't want to hear nothing.
Yo.
I don't want to hear nothing out of you.
I'm crying.
So, Christian, that's the other thing too. How do you know what he's saying in the chats? You left and then never came back. I was told you were coming back to the chats. What happened, Mr. Christian? Some type of co-owner. I mean, unbelievable.
I'm weak.
Let's see here.
Who you going with?
We're Greek. We invented Italian food. Yo, Christian, shut your ass up. Us Romans, we got it. We got it, baby. You know what? Give me the Bengals too, man. I just think there's something in the water this year. And I think that they're going to get ahead early in the game and they're going to make Tannehill throw. And I don't think he's ready for that. I just don't think he's ready for that. Christian getting the hot seat ASAP. I'm ready. Hangover's done. Christian, you want the hot seat? You want one?
Pull up, man.
Just type a nice little yes in the comment section. I'll get you on here. I'll let you give your predictions. I'll put you on for the rest of the show. You can give your playoff predictions. How about that one? Bengals. Oh, look at this. You're even giving us a parlay in the chat. You're ready? All right, Christian. I'm going to put you in the hot seat right now. I expect nothing but fire from you. All right, Christian. Let's give you, just to make sure, we'll give you the 10 minutes just to make sure. If you want to leave before that, you can. It's okay. I think you got to accept the invite there, buddy. Oh, there he is. Look at this guy.
It is a fucking blessed time right now. Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you loud and clear, my brother.
Yes, sir.
God is great. I am even better. Completed 100% of the first round in my pick'em. I am leading right now. You guys want my playoff predictions? I'll run you through my little parlay real quick.
Let's hear it.
Listen, let's go ahead.
Okay. Joe is going to reign for the Titans. This is going to be the classic one and done for the Titans. I don't care if they get a bye week. They're going to get slapped. Joe Burrow's going to roll them. Packers, not only are they going to beat the Niners, -5.5, free money.
You
Girl, I don't
think?
want to hear shit. I'm not going to read the chat. Easy dub. Now, Rams over the Bucks, +130. Also, this is like a stimulus check right here. It's free money. Your boy Titans throwing you $1,400. Just put some money on the game. Tom Brady doesn't want to play with us. They didn't do it earlier this year. They can't handle us late in the season. We're too good. And then Chiefs -2.5 versus the Bills. This is the one I'm scared about, to be honest.
Why don't you do a little teaser then, huh?
I mean, I don't know if it's the Bills fans that I'm friends with kind of getting in my head, but the Bills look good. But I still think the Chiefs cover 2.5. That's my prediction. So that parlay right there, $60 nets you $1,000. So throw that in my bookie. Go get yourself a stimulus check from your boy, and you can thank me later. You can fly out Connie so you can get off my fucking ass about that.
Yo, listen, Christian, you're the one with all the money. You're supposed to be flying me out.
Sheesh.
Yeah, but Connie, how am I supposed to keep that shit if I'm out here flying out little sugar babies like you? Ain't getting none for it.
No, listen. I don't know what kind of things you want for it.
Yeah.
That's a
Sugar
different problem.
babies.
Great, my dog. I want to fly you out. You need something that's going to make you successful. I'll get that for you. I ain't going to fly you out. That's a you thing.
Yo, Christian, how about this? You fly me out. I'll teach you all about NFTs.
Okay, that's interesting.
Listen, Christian, right now.
Get the child being paired. I actually had an idea about that the other day. So you know what? You might be on.
Listen, right now, I've invested about $450 into my NFTs. I'm looking at 10,000 right now in return.
You're fucking joking.
I swear on my life.
All right, tomorrow morning is done. We're getting it done. I'm betting money talks, bullshit walks, and that's why the Cowboys are not in the playoffs. Can we talk about the fact that whoever designed that stadium just finessed Jerry Jones more than Ezekiel Elliott and Dak
crazy.
Prescott?
I said that.
You build a
Yeah.
$1 billion stadium, and you can't even put the blinds up, my boy.
That's
What
crazy.
is that? You can't go to budget blinds and get yourself some retractables and throw the bad boys down when the sun's high? Now, I get it. You don't expect the Cowboys to be playing in January. No one did. I get you on that. But the stadium can't come back to bite you. That's more embarrassing than having Mike McCarthy as your head coach. Am I right?
Almost as embarrassing as having Dak as your $75 million quarterback. Am I right, Christian?
Oh, my God. Connie, thank God you brought that up because it reminds me of how bad did Diggs look. Just getting routed. He looks like MapQuest back in the day. Just getting fucking routed to your destination. Awful.
Kevin King 2.0, some would say.
Sheesh.
He looks like Josh Norman, too. Just getting
Ah.
routed.
Yeah, it was
Awful.
rough.
But did he get a pick? No. So we're not going to hear about him.
All pro for what is what I'm saying, you know?
What does it even mean to be all pro anymore? If you can do that and still make it to the all pro. I mean, where was J.C. Jackson? I'd rather have J.C. Jackson.
He was on the
over-
second team
over
All
Diggs.
Pro. He made second team.
Got AJ Terrell from the Falcons.
That's what I'm saying. Is what does it mean anymore? Same thing with the AJ Terrell.
Yep.
AJ Terrell was absolutely dominant this year. I don't know if he made third team All Pro, but I definitely know that Tre'Yon Diggs should not have been anywhere close to AJ Terrell. That's the Cowboys hype. This is why we shit on Cowboys fans. Is they just hype up everyone and they let you down. It's like Connie, it's probably like your dad growing up. So I'm just kidding.
Well, listen.
But in all honesty, let's back to the Rams game. That was just
Sheesh.
electric last night. When I saw them play in SoFi earlier this year, it was like 60-40 Rams Cardinals. It was embarrassing. It was a classic LA game where the fucking visiting team buys up half the tickets and it's embarrassing. But last night, of the 70,000 fans, it felt like maybe 100 were Cardinals fans. We were pelting them with popcorn. We were throwing the shitty-ass food at SoFi because you can't even eat it. We were fucking throwing it at them. That was one of the best home games I've ever been. It reminded me of a Pete Carroll Coliseum back when USC was hit. That's what it felt like. I hear all this shit talk about LA fans, and it's true. We got
You guys are front runners. You know that, right?
We got to hold our L. But there's enough people in this city that care enough that if we show out, LA is a hard fucking place to play. And I'm talking about Buffalo Bills. Obviously, you got nice weather, so anyone can throw a football. But I'm talking about that bitch was loud. And I played at Oklahoma State, which is one of the loudest stadiums in the country. And that is a loud stadium that I heard last night. It was electric. Cowboys can't play there. Patriots would struggle to play there. If somehow the Rams, and in my pick'em, I have Skura, you hold your mouth. I have the Packers being the Rams in the NFC Championship. But the Rams can somehow find their way back to LA for the Super Bowl. It's done. Phone at home. It's done.
You're pulling an ET phone home. It's over.
It's over. Didn't Tampa play in Tampa last year for the Super Bowl? It's going back to back.
They did.
You would be correct.
Going back to back, baby. I don't know who I want to play more, the Chiefs or the Bills. But if we find our way to the Super Bowl, the Rams are winning. Just book it right now. By the way, we're winning this thing.
Now, Christian, if it's in LA, you have to go, right?
So, I did look at tickets. They would run your boy about 20 G's per ticket.
Per ticket?
But, I mean, I don't want to sit in no fucking nosebleeds for the Super Bowl. I want to sit somewhere with at least a chip shot of getting blood from Aaron Donald on me. But them tickets are not. We'll see. We'll see. See, here's the thing: is I can't just go by myself. You know, you got the girl, you got the boys, you got the clients and shit. I'm not trying to run up a fucking 6-figure bag right now. You know, I got it. I ain't fucking got it like that. Shit.
Well, listen, how about this? You guys can have the nice seats. I'll fly down. You can buy me a nosebleed one, and we'll have a grand old time after.
No, Connie, how about this? I count you, right? Well, we got one. What is the Super Bowl in 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
February like 10th or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so you balling in the NFT game, right?
I mean,
you
currently.
Send me some, you show me some little, nice little NFTs, and if it ends up paying for a Super Bowl seat, I'll take you as my date. How about that?
Me and Christian,
No
Super
pressure.
Bowl date.
No pressure,
I mean,
man.
hey, you know what?
I love it. I will say that if I had to speak on one thing, the food in SoFi is fucking trash. It is awful. I wouldn't even serve that to POW Cowboy fans. Like, it is the worst stadium food I've never seen people fuck up a glizzy more than at SoFi Stadium. It is honestly depressing. I cannot stress this enough how bad the food is at that fucking stadium.
And you've had your girl cook for you.
Nah, dude, I cook more than she does.
Wow, SoFi is worse than that, huh?
Your boy's nice with the cast iron skill. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. What do we got in the cast iron? Are you cooking burgers?
I made some smash burgers the other day. Almost burned down the apartment. They were incredible. I'm moving back to one of my rentals in closer when the baby's coming. It's got a full grill. We're gonna be every Sunday. More meat rolling out than Connie on a Saturday. Just glizzies after glizzies on the weekend. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
You know, Christian, hey, you're listen.
Treasure.
One of these days,
National treasure, man.
Yeah, CJ said you're a national treasure. He can't. CJ, you're muted on the color cast.
Oh, yeah.
CJ, I don't know what you do for work, CJ, but you need to get into the voice acting because you have the most silky voice of any human being I've ever met in my entire life.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
I appreciate you guys. Only got a couple seconds left, but when I know your Patriots season is over, so you guys are in mock draft season. But when the season's actually over, and you guys want to run through some mock drafts, your boy likes to watch a little college football. So mock draft season, my time is yours. We can sit down, talk about who the Patriots are going to take a quarterback next year.
Take a quarterback, he says.
Matt Corral or Malik Willis. What do you want, Matt Corral or Malik Willis? Both are better than Mac Jones.
Wow.
Listen, I'll take a wide receiver over all of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jameson Williams.
Nikhil Harry 2.0.
Yeah, listen, don't ever speak that name. That's like the devil around here.
Worse pick than Jalen Rager. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Keep it up. Love y'all.
You too, brother. Love you
Yes,
too,
sir, brother. Christian's always a trip, man.
Yeah, Christian's hilarious, man.
Oh, Christian is a trip. But all right, after all that, we still got a show to wrap up.
Yeah, crazy.
It's been a long one. We both went Cincinnati. Where you go with the Buffalo and Chiefs game?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I feel like they have enough guys to beat the man-to-man coverage that Leslie Frazier likes to run. I got them in a close game. It's gonna be a really good game. I think Mahomes just makes enough plays against the Bills. Before the Bills come up short. Who you got?
Give me the Bills. Listen, I was ahead of the Josh Allen train. It makes me feel a little bit better about the Patriots lose if they lose to a team that at least goes that far in the playoffs. It makes me, it's kind of like, well, at least I lost to somebody who was the champion, type of situations. Like, hey, at least I got knocked out by Francis Ngannou instead of, some dude who drinks out of a shoe. You know what I mean? So, hey.
Tuivasa, he got some heavy hands, man. He's supposed to fight Derek. He's supposed to fight Derek. Him versus Derek Lewis is going somebody getting slept in like 10 seconds.
I can't wait for that one.
That's gonna be crazy.
But yeah, I'll go with the Bills. I don't know. I'm feeling it in the water this year. We got the 49ers and the Packers. Listen, I think it's a bad matchup for the Packers. I do. 49ers like to run the ball. Packers aren't really that great against it. All that being said, I'll still go with the Packers.
Going Green Bay as well. Again, quarterbacks play a big factor. San Fran runs the ball extremely well, and I feel like that's definitely a weakness in Green Bay's defense. But I just think Rodgers plays a lot better than what we saw from Dak last week. They got to find it. I think they get Jair back. Darius Smith is supposed to play as well. They're able to get the Garoppolo, take him off his spot. Should be a good game. It was, and the Sunday Night Football game was really good. It was a really good game. Came down to a Mason Crosby field goal, 32-29. That was at Levi Stadium. though. This is in Lambeau. The game before in the NFC Conference Championship game, I think that was at Levi Stadium as well. So I think this is, like I said, this is in the frozen tundra. Got to go with the Packers. I think Rodgers and his team, they're on a mission to do something special. Maybe meet Brady again. Maybe see the Rams again as well. Two teams that they've went up against over the last few years. I think the 49ers come up short, and then get ready to transition for Trey Lance next season.
And then we rounded out with our picks, at least.
Right.
The Rams and the Bucks. Christian gave you his thoughts on this. But CJ, what do you think?
I just can't bet against Tom. I've just seen it so many times. They definitely have the formula to beat Tom. They have the pass rush, they have the run game. Things that have definitely hurt Tom and some of his losses in the playoffs, the Ravens a few years, Giants, Eagles in previous Super Bowls. But I mean, until I see it, it's just tough for me to bet against Brady, man. Mike Evans versus Jalen Ramsey, that's going to be a matchup to look out for. Von Miller, Tristan Wirfs is going to be a matchup. Ali Marpet going up against Aaron Donald in the trenches. Those are going to be some solid one-on-one matchups I'm looking forward to seeing in this game. But push comes to shove, when the game gets tight, I'm going with 12. I've just seen it so many times, and I think we see a rematch between Green Bay and Tampa Bay, part 2.
You said it perfectly. That first sentence. Can't bet against Mr. Tommy. Listen, there's death taxes, Tom Brady, and a Super Bowl. I mean, come on, let's be real here, people. Yeah. Do the Rams have the formula? For sure. But I think Stafford's the key in this. I think he's going to throw one up that gets intercepted. Yeah. Arians was a little toxic when he slapped that dude in the helmet. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was a little wild. That was a little crazy.
Questionable. A little questionable at best. But yeah, I think Stafford throws one up. Brady capitalizes on it. They squeak out like a 30-27 win. That would be my prediction for this game. But you know what? It's been a 2-hour and damn near half-hour show after me and CJ said we were done with 2-hour shows. So with that being said,
Cam Akers
CJ, why don't you tell everybody Cam Akers will be the difference? Hey, very possible. Very possible. But hey, Bucks getting back Lenny Fournette. Devin White came back. Shaq Barrett came back. They're supposed to get Murphy Bunting back for this game.
It's going to be a great game. I think it's right up there with Chiefs Bills, like we talked about earlier.
Well, CJ, you're a great person. And I need everybody to know where they can find you in this world.
You can find me on Twitter at cjames9_, IG cj.james9. Yes, Twitch, CJ versus the World, Guard Up Podcast, covering all things NBA. And of course, right here on Tuesday nights, my guy Connie, 9 p.m. Eastern, streaming on all platforms and also on Colorcast, C James USN.
Yes, sir, people. A long one. As for me, you can find me on Twitter, Anthony Conover _ for all my thoughts on the world, aka sports only, because that's all I care for. You make sure you follow all of my accounts, Gen Z Sports right here, which I do Mondays at 7 Eastern with me and my guy Josh. Had my boy Luke fill in on the last episode. Trying to get my little TikTok cloud up. He got about 66K on there. I'm trying to, hit up there. So make sure you go follow that. That's 7 Eastern on Mondays. Obviously, CJ just said it. Me and him do this every Tuesday at 9 Eastern. Shout out Christian for pulling up to the hot seat a little bit. Matt, always active in the comments and pulling up to the hot seat. We appreciate all the comments from everybody in the Colorcast as well. Listen, in all seriousness, we joke around a lot, but these shows are a lot better when we have the people that enjoy listening to us going back and forth with us in the comments. So truly, it is greatly appreciated. You guys give us a platform and a reason, to actually come on here and bullshit for 2.5 hours.
Facts. Appreciate you guys.
And then Thursdays, Backstop Banter, me and my guy Michael talk about everything in the baseball world. Kind of the hard count, but baseball. So we'll talk about everything over there with baseball going on. Twitch is Anthony _Conover. I put all the pods up over there as well. And yeah, man, that's about it. Make sure you guys go listen to the pod if you missed anything. Follow us on Colorcast. I'm a Conover USN. CJ, you said yours is let's see, C James USN over there, or CJ? Sure. No, wait, CJ, yeah,
C James, yeah.
USN over there. So make sure you check everybody out. If you just type in the USN at the end, you'll find everybody. So make sure you pull up, support the squad. But with that being said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. CJ, appreciate you for another wonderful episode, my guy. And we'll catch everybody later.